Futures trying to bounce here, showing some strength early on a Friday morning as we try to make some gains back on what has been a pretty negative week so far. Only 2.8% right now for the Nasdaq on the week. We'll see how things play out today, but could be a lot worse, obviously, on the back of more negativity surrounding tech earnings. Amazon to the downside this morning, more than 7% overall here on this $200 billion Capex number that we brought to you last night as it did come out. We'll touch on that coming up. The overall sentiment, I think, around this trade in general definitely has changed this morning. Crypto back to the upside in a pretty big way here so far this morning. IBIT looking pretty good, back to 38 after a flush after the close last night, down to 34 as BTC got absolutely cracked down to 61 and change. In the late hours of the day yesterday. We'll see if we can get some strength. There are some earnings coming up in this group next week, so maybe from an equity standpoint, I mean, we'll see what happens today. Obviously, and over the weekend, I think is going to be important for Bitcoin. But man, what a week it's been.
Unbelievable, eh? Aggressive sell-offs. I think we haven't really been at this low since, I think, a month.
Long time.
Well, I think, yeah. Well, we'll have to keep an eye on that. A whole lot to talk about today, guys, not the least of which is the $200 billion of Amazon Capex. Tesla also in focus with some Chinese EV sales. And oh boy, Brendo, Stellantis losing more than a quarter of its value. It is down 26%. On the back of a reshuffling of their business organization. Intel and AMD also in focus, telling Chinese customers that CPUs are backlogged and they're going to have to wait, and they're both up nicely here. Nice rebound. Also, who else reported? Reddit reported as well. Good look for, interesting look for them. And Bloom Energy booming again, not all-time highs, but pretty close.
Yeah, we talked about it as the earnings came out last night for BE. Pretty good report. Was one of the more stronger ones last night. Roblox as well to the upside. We'll touch on Reddit also. Yeah, AMD looking pretty good. Struggling at 200 early on this morning. We're back below it right now, but see if we can't get going back through 200 maybe for AMD on that China note. It's interesting. I was digging around on Amazon last night trying to find some external storage. It's accounting season, so I was trying to dump some of my old stuff onto, it's like $350 for a terabyte.
What?
Yeah, like really, really expensive for just external drives right now. It's unreal.
That's crazy. Is it like an SSD or just a regular? Okay. Well, maybe that's
still
that's ridiculous.
It's double from the last time I had.
I was about to say to you, I think I picked it up for like 170 bucks, something like that.
Yeah. So the shortage has found Amazon as far as external SSDs are concerned as well. I think from an overall standpoint, though, like some of the memory stocks may be coming a little bit more calm than we've seen over the past few months, obviously. That being said, back to the upside here this morning for both SNDK and MU looking relatively strong. Man, MU right at 400 here, the guys this morning to get things going on a Friday. Remember, no non-farm payrolls today, so the economic calendar, not much to really worry about. We do get Michigan consumer sentiment, but we'll see if that affects the market.
Yeah, it might, but
there's something wrong with the Unity right now. I don't know.
Well,
I'm gonna turn it off.
Internal potential issues with our pieces. We'll get that fixed out. But should be a volatile day today.
I
can't promise it'll be good because in this market, like it'll be good for opportunities because there's volatility. But I mean, good has meant to the downside recently, which for everyone's long-term accounts hasn't been good. But at least it looks like, I don't know, that felt like a bottoming event in the evening on Bitcoin. Like that flush into 60,000 almost exactly, and we're back at 66. That's kind of what I thought you'd see on like a weekend maybe, like one of those like.
I missed it. Sharif said we went down, we broke 60 in the midday there, and I actually missed that yesterday. So I thought when we hit 61, that was it yesterday. But no, we had made that move lower. So I think
That's a pretty good bottoming tail. I don't know. We'll see. Are we convinced? I'm not completely convinced that we're done with this.
60,000.
Right? But that was a pretty good bottoming tail. MSTR earnings were meaningless, but maybe the timing of that could have maybe indicated a bottom. Silver will still be on watch. Amazon, obviously, big cap tech. as keeping their Capex up, which is good for some of the chip names. Good rebound in NVIDIA today, up a couple of points. Intel, AMD, Sharif already mentioned, and then the memory chip names to the upside. Can we hold the gains? Has been the question all week long. The answer has generally been no. So be nimble, everybody.
Solana got down to 70,000. It's a crazy. I mean, Amazon got to 196 or 7 yesterday when I was checking, because I got that. I even tweeted it out when Bitcoin broke that 61,000 there at 7 o'clock, whatever, and I was like, okay. Interesting, because then I looked over and Amazon was at 198. All the crypto names are getting absolutely pumped. Amazon with the 200 billion Capex. I mean, just another expense. But we saw yesterday, the market reward good companies. And obviously it got hit early on Google, but then we closed at the highs, and now you're getting down ticked a little bit here because of Amazon. So I think we can look at Google strength here today, but I'm not being fooled by this, I don't think. I still think this is a sell day. Honestly, I think this is going to be a risk-off day again. You come in here, nothing's really changed, and all of a sudden we get another tech report that the market doesn't really like, and I'm supposed to come in here and buy the Nasdaq. For me, it's a wait and see. I do have a low bid on Amazon in case that gets filled, but I'm not buying the market today. I'd like to see us at least get going a little bit here. I think we could retest the lows, but I'm not thinking immediately on that. It's Friday. It's a sell kind of a feeling for me. We don't have the jobs report today, so that kind of sucks. I wish we were getting some more data to be able to see, because the Fed interest rate, and we talked about this yesterday, didn't it get bumped up there for March? Like there's now a decent chance.
15%.
I hit refresh. Don't tell me it's not going to work. Okay, right here, yeah. So March right now 16%. So it's getting up. It was 15 yesterday, 17% chance now for a rate cut in March. Extended out to April, you get 30%. It just keeps on going. Looks like we will officially, half of the market feels right now that they will be at 325, 350 by June. But there's a little small hope that we get that rate cut coming soon. And, with the move in the dollar, with the move in silver, gold, everything like that, and then some of the jobs numbers we got yesterday, maybe it's becoming much more likely that that cut does come through. Bank stocks going to be interesting to look at. I mean, can SoFi regain that $20 mark? I haven't even looked at it yet. There it is, 1980. So we're going to look for that right there for SoFi today. That's been absolutely killed as well. So, yeah. Sorry about that, Luis. There, maybe it is going to be a green day. I don't know. I mean, when I come around, Green Day style, we can wait to see if it makes that move. But I'm just looking at this. Like, you're starting to trend down, and I've actually written down the first trade I have is kind of like a break, of this move right here. So let's wait to see if it has a VWAP installed as a support level. But you know what, Neil? I mean, you and I are the same. We have to trade what we see, obviously. Yeah. And it's crazy to make like a bold prediction that today is going to be a down day. I mean, I don't know. Like, I didn't think Google being down 8% and then being up 2%. Like, that's a 10% move on a $4 trillion company. That happened yesterday.
It was the flips were insane. I mean, the yesterday was one of the weirder ones as well for even ARM, which we talk about 4 times a year on earnings, and they were like the weakest in the aftermarket show on Wednesday. These guys were easily, I mean, at one point, maybe not for the entirety of the time, but they were the ones that you were crapping on the most. Certainly them and Qualcomm, and it was a related reason. And it seemed like maybe it'd be weak. It lost $100, like right in the pre-market. Like, oh, okay, well, this could be a thing. And then it just proceeded to be the strongest tech name for the majority of the day yesterday. But everything's under VWAP right now. It's weird because like everything I'm looking at is under VWAP except for like the futures are above on the Nasdaq. But then you look over, I kind of look at NVIDIA. Okay, well, that's been sliding down after gapping up, and not nearly. Ignore these dark pool prints. Like, we're actually up a couple of percentage points. These dark pool prints get annoying around 8 o'clock. Then you look at like Intel, which was also gapped up, and it's been sliding down just a little bit here. Apple, which good support on Apple yesterday.
Oh yeah, Apple. That might be a good long.
2 days in a row. Oh, there we go. Thank you, chart. 2 days in a row, you've basically held the same support level, but then it's off some of the highs. Yeah, like there's signs of a bounce, mostly in, look at what's going on with crypto. Even silver is looking like it might be bouncing. But then there's just enough this morning that hasn't really followed through. And as Sean said, we don't really get any economic data. I just think you have to keep nimble. Like, okay, this is an obvious support level on Apple at 273. But if it doesn't hold this level at the open, then maybe you don't want to be long the stock. It kind of works. I don't want to say it's that simple, but with a level like this, you know, be open-minded. If Apple loses 273 just because it's been relatively strong for a couple of days, doesn't mean it has to be today. Tesla's at $400, pretty much exactly at $400. And this has been dropping all pre-market here. Big gap up for Tesla, and then it just lost like over 1%. And it's just been sitting down here. So yeah, when things, you know, when I got in the train, things looked a heck of a lot better on the way in than when I'm sitting down now. Like it was kind of easier to say, hey, if we hold this, looking like a bit of a rebound day. But the sellers have started to creep in. It doesn't mean we're going to head into the downside for sure. But you've got to keep an open mind. Like I said, just trade what is in front of you. And well, one thing that I'd be surprised if it was up today, Sharif, would be Stellantis, as we're going to talk about some of the auto names. Oh, and Sharif was very excited for Bloom Energy this morning. There's something that had a lot of strength that still looks pretty good, holding on to some of the afternoon gains. Don't forget, this is the short float's a bit of a story here. And it's got room to get into the highs, which gives you a bit of a chance for something to go. What I don't like about Bloom, spread and volume. So you got to wait for this one to open up, very thinly traded, but looks like a very good one. Yeah, we'll probably have Michael Noss coming through. I'm curious to see what he says technically about Bitcoin, because everybody was throwing numbers out. Like, I was like, oh, look at this chart. It's like 50,000 just looks like a level, and then there's another reason you could say that. I saw people saying 34 and 37 for technical levels. So I'm curious what a technician says about both this 60,000 bounce and where a technical bottom would be.
Yeah, I'm actually less interested in what he says and more interested in what he does. I mean, anybody can sit here and say anything they want. I want to know if Michael's actually putting some money into some of these crypto plays, because I believe he is. So I think that's a question
usually
that we can ask him, right? Because anybody can sit here and read a chart and tell you, wow, this doesn't look good, or this might be the bounce. But do you actually believe in the bounce? Because that's the thing. IBIT's had a nice move back, right? I mean, the low of 60,000, it's now up 10%. So that's the other thing, right? I mean, there is a big, huge opportunity to buy IBIT and buy crypto at a discount, right? So whether or not you're picking 66 or 61 or, you know, whatever the price, you're hoping that you're going to look back in a couple months or whatever, and it has a 9 in front of it, or it has an 8, you know? So I want to hear if he's buying it, and if there are, he's brought us some unique coins, needless to say, in the past. Is there something on the crypto side that might look more attractive than Bitcoin, or
you know what's interesting?
Are we sticking with Bitcoin, you know?
Well, that's the other thing. I can't think of any of the other coins that I like any better, to be honest with you. Yeah. But Ja with the super chat. Thank you for the super chat there. Good morning. Good morning to you as well. It's been a scalper's paradise, short all the pops. See, that's where we're like, even if everything was gapped up and it's like everything looks strong, shorting pops yesterday or just patiently waiting. Like even like Intel went like 3 or 4% to the upside at the open, and even that was a short, and it was super strong on the open. It's just, there's so many of these types of plays, so I'm kind of with that. That means the only thing I will disagree with is, like for me, if someone's showing me a technical level, I'm making my own decision based on it. Like I could care less if somebody else is buying something at a certain level. If they show me something and I think the level looks good, I'm like, oh, I agree with that. Then I can make a decision myself. Like I'm never doing something because somebody else does it, or liking something more because they like it more. It's just, I just want to see if there's something that I'm missing on the chart that might change my opinion for myself. And then whether he would buy it or not wouldn't matter to me. It would just be like, oh, I didn't see that, or I didn't look at this anchored VWAP. I was thinking 50,000. Now I want to buy at 42. I have no idea. I'm always interested in someone else's viewpoint so that I can see something that I might not have seen before. But let's head back on up to the desk. Lots to cover here. And we'll try to get through everything, or as much as we can, including whatever small cappers might come our way. It was a pretty quiet one yesterday for small cappers. Not that you needed it to find movement, Sharif.
Sharif and I were just talking a little bit about these opportunities that are presenting themselves, in the sense that you brought up a good point. Going back to last April when the market had the huge flush,
Yep.
I don't think anyone was really prepared at the velocity and the speed at which we came back right back up.
Exactly.
You know, and a lot of people got caught thinking should have bought more, should have bought period. A lot of people I don't think did anything. Even on that little retracement, there was the initial bounce and then the retracement that gave you that second opportunity, and then the market just ripped right back to all-time highs. So,
and you could make the argument that a lot more had fundamentally changed in
100%.
terms of the economic
100%.
dynamics then than it has now, right? Sure, you're getting technical breakdowns. Nobody can argue that, right? But what is so different about the economic landscape? You made a good point off camera. The market, the market may be running out of patience with this Capex, especially because a lot of these hyperscalers haven't really monetized it in the short term. But like I was saying to you, you look at Google growing at a 40% clip, right? And you're seeing the immediate monetization of the neocloud services that they're providing. So I don't think it's, you know, just ubiquitous across all big tech that you're not immediately seeing gains in revenue.
But maybe that becomes the benchmark now, you know, and anything that is falling behind as far as growth, Amazon was nowhere near on the growth number specifically, but still wants to spend that kind of Capex.
Well, yeah,
is going to get punished for that. MSTR, I was just hearing day highs here, kind of through 117 again, trying to hold a little bit higher as we continue to march higher for IBIT. Yeah, earnings basically a non-event. We did absolutely nothing after the close yesterday, but nice gap here with Bitcoin this morning for strategy.
It's good. I mean, strategy, obviously that levered play. So if that's your cup of tea, fine. Put buyers, Brendo. I was looking at this article yesterday. MicroStrategy put buyers realized 166% in same-day gains, who lifted off that 145 offer. Yeah, well, that's an unbelievable look there. But I was looking more at Bitcoin, and we were looking at that $60,000 level, and we were wondering, you know, is that going to be the bottom? Because we were doing the math, and we were saying if we typically get, you know, that 70 to 80% pullback, like we got in 13, like we got in 18, and we got in 21. Then 50 would be the level, right? So I was expecting more blood, to be quite honest with you, and I threw orders at that level as well.
We still might.
Yeah,
you know,
we still might. It could be a dead cat bounce here.
Sure. I was just looking at the other wild one that we've been keeping an eye on this week, silver, trying to get back higher as well. There's been a couple of days this week, if you just go back to the beginning of the week, where we get, you know, these kind of bounces higher and then fade back into prior levels, bounce higher, fade back into prior levels. This morning, guys, trying to set up here very similarly, where we get this bounce higher and potentially maybe even a 66 comes back into play or even lower for silver. But it seems the sentiment this week anyways has changed.
Yeah, but it's been short to pop every single, well, I can't say it's every single day, but more or less. Like the last 3 sessions, it gaps higher, there's a little trend up, and when it breaks, it's pretty clean. You trend up, when it breaks, it's pretty clean, trend up, and then any point you could, whether it's here or over there, it's the same thing. And if you're not trading silver, well, if you're not trading SLV, it's still silver. If you're not trading SLV, then you can just express that trade in ZSL in the other direction. Trend break, trend break, trend break, trend break, and the afternoon was actually even better. So I don't see any reason to look for anything different. Like on ZSL, supported about the 260 to 265, but it's more about the trend break on the 15-minute than anything else. And then just looking for that volatility. Because one thing to consider, we've probably had what? Like how many days are we into February? Not that many, so maybe 25 days of trading days, maybe a little bit more than that so far this year. SLV has had 5% or more days. So it's not half, but it's just under a coin flip to start the year, whether you're going to have silver move 5% on the day, which is, it's a tremendous amount of volatility at this point. Like you're not, like for most names, you need a specific catalyst to get over the 5% movement mark. Like you have earnings or your HIMs and you've got some legal battle going on. It's just, you're not going to see this on a daily basis. Like some stocks every now and then for no reason might do that, but you're getting this every single, or more or less every single day out of silver. So it's got to be on your watch. As much as Bitcoin and crypto stole the show yesterday because of how much of a glut it was, you still had a good continuation trade and more of the same in terms of opportunity when you're trading silver. And it's nothing, and there's nothing against gold here. GLD, that's going to move as well. You're just going to get bigger percentage moves out of silver, no questions asked. Actually, you look at it, GLD might have a nice, I breached it late here, but even has a bit of a floor at 441. I'd feel better about looking for dips on gold on structure than I would silver. Just very, very different charts when you pull the daily. Like as much as we pull back on gold, it still looks pretty good around that 420 level if we ever get down there. And maybe we'll be able to ask our good friend Peter Schiff about that on Monday, because he'll be on Monday, Peter Schiff, the gold expert.
Yeah, it should be interesting to see what he has to say. This is the level for me right here, 66 basically for silver. I mean, you know, we got into there yesterday, made a move up in the pre-market a little bit anyways, and then got hit really badly to the downside, obviously, before regressing. This is here this morning. This is yesterday's close, right into there, 66 and change. We've gotten up to this side, $70 yesterday. This is the white is yesterday. So yesterday we were at $77 right there. Here's the hold at 66. There's the hold again, and then there's the breakdown as crypto and everything else fell out of bed as well. So I was going to say, like, if we can break through the 66, and it's at 68, so, you know, definitely capable of getting back down in. So we'll see if we can break that 66 area or just for a hold. But this is the area that I'm looking at right there. And then at the high side, I mean, 70, right? So I think it's very, very clear today the pattern of what you want to do on silver. You break 70, you go long. You break 66, you go short. Trading in the middle here. You know, maybe you have to get creative a little bit and try to use, you know, VWAP or something that's down here at 67.50 if you like the middle trade. But for me, I think today is going to be a violent day one way or the other. So 66 break low, 70 break high, and I think you've got it there on silver. So those are sort of the ebbs and flows of that one here today. And over to Joe for options.
All right, guys, good morning and happy Friday. Let's hop into the world of derivatives. Ignore what we have on the left-hand side here. Let's focus on this center graphic right now, and that's going to be Amazon at the top of our list here this morning, guys, at that $220 mark, expiring February 20th. I think we're running into supply zones. And you say, Joe, once again, why are we looking at calls when Amazon is to the downside and it's extremely out of the money? Well, that's totally fine. What we can do is gauge where a lot of the action is at, and that is going to be at that specific strike price, and price could be held from that specific area. It's a supply zone, right? Open interest sitting around 17,600 with volume around 2,020. Now, as for the bid and the ask, relatively wide. I'm going to expect this to extremely tighten up. This is $3. That doesn't make any sense when I was documenting it, but I wanted to bring it to you guys anyways. So expect that to really, really tighten up. That's $300 spread. That's absolutely ridiculous, and that's not necessarily going to be the case at the open. Now, as for your delta, you're sitting around that $56 metric. So for every $1 change in that contract, you're going to see a $56 change, for every $1 change in the underlying, you'll see a $56 change in that specific contract. Now, as for the gamma, really light. At the money, IB, extremely increased here as well. Once again, ignore all of this data here. Focus on what we got going on the right-hand side, but a lot going on. Ridiculous spread. That's going to tighten up, absolutely. Now, moving forward, guys, RBLX, that's going to be Roblox. Spread not as bad there, as you can tell. Just going through some of these earnings reports, guys, $75 strike price. Once again, on that February 20th expiration cycle is where we're starting to see the most of the activity, okay? So that's what we want to keep an eye on and see where the big boys are playing. So open interest sitting around 7,150, and the volume relatively light on that one, 1,140. Now your delta exposure is cool as well too, guys. Same with your gamma exposure, sitting at that 22 delta. But as for the at the money IB, considering you're in the earnings season and it just reported, you're going to see an increase in the implied volatility. Also, with that being said, you see an increase in the premiums as well too. So we're sitting around 122%. Ignore what we got going on here. Up here, this is irrelevant. Just focus on this in the center of the graphic. Now, as for the puts, guys, we're going to look at Palantir. Once again, we're going to head over to February 20th and that expiration cycle. Open interest sitting around 11,700, and then the volume relatively cool around 2,009 there. But as for the bid and the ask, only $10. We're not going to complain about that whatsoever. At that $140 mark, that is going to be OTM, guys. But as for your delta, It's sitting around that 70 delta, and the gamma exposure relatively cool as well. At the money IV, around 64%. Once again, looking at this as a potential supply zone here on PLTR. I was talking with a couple of my trading buddies last night, and he's like, what do you think about us heading back in towards that level? Well, maybe you get that magnet effect, or maybe you just have the market holding price down a little bit, and that's why we were going through that example with Amazon as well, too. Especially when we're looking at the inverse of things. It's just like we can classify these as supply zones and then gauges that, hey, we may not see those levels for a little bit of time, or you get the magnet effect. It's not that black and white, but you have to gauge what price action is doing as well too. Now moving forward, guys, once again, Robinhood gonna hit the list at that $100 mark. Volume is really, really light with 512 contracts, but the open interest is relatively high. Once again, falling into that February 20th expiration cycle, 10,600 contracts there, and then you can see how expensive they are, around $2,800 there and $2,700 for at the bid. Your delta relatively high, and then sure enough, because these are deep in the money contracts at this point, right around 30%. So that's why you're going to see that increase in delta sitting around 92. So you're almost at a 1-to-1 there, a little bit off, but the at the money IB extremely high, around 104%. So if you go back to your delta metric, guys, for every $1 move, if it's to the top side or to the downside, you're going to see almost $100 change in the contract, and that's when you get that 1-to-1 movement, and that's how you kind of want to gauge. It's like, so a lot of traders I find, it's like, hey, well, the stock has moved up X amount, but the contract hasn't changed in equal to what the actual underlying has. It's because you have to keep an eye on your delta metric. When we go over a past example, it's like, okay, you're not always going to get that 1-to-1 ratio, but where you really get the value in some of these contracts is the acceleration of your delta and getting more in the money, all right? So that's what we got going on, guys, for the options activity today. We're going to take a look at some upgrades and downgrades momentarily.
Yeah, and that Robinhood the last 4 days, it hadn't mattered what it did at the open, because it's drop, continue, drop, continue, drop, continue. Oh, yesterday we're bouncing. Nope, not happening. So even when it was super strong, this literally bounced like $3. You'd be saying, oh, look at that. The buy is in, you're good to go. And then it was still heavily faded. This is distinctly different, obviously, because it's the first time that we're actually gapped up significantly on Robinhood. But I think like where you bounced into yesterday, it's like, oh, how good do you feel if we're not busting through yesterday's high and even taking out the close area around 80.50 on Wednesday? Like then you can start to fill in some of that gap. So if we're not breaking through like that first area of resistance, then gap ups can be deceiving. So I think in Robinhood's case, anybody would look at this last 5 days actually since losing the 200 period moving average and say, yeah, you're primed for a bounce. But this one needs to get through 80. On a Friday, that can be even more difficult with 80 being a key price for sure. But like, this is going to be on your radar. I feel like if you're trading like Bitcoin, for me, I like Bitcoin and BMNR. So it might not be in Robinhood because they're probably going to move very similar. But the volatility is here to stay on the hooded one. And you know, the only thing I can say for, in a related name, somewhat related name, even not exactly the same thing, the only thing I can say for SoFi is, well, the pattern's not exactly the same, but it is absolutely uncanny. Both of these broke the 200 period moving average. Both of them had the same successive crazy drops. The only difference is, I mean, SoFi before tanking yesterday didn't have the common decency to bounce significantly early like Robinhood did. Like SoFi just dropped right away. So it was actually weaker in some ways. But like these things, when they're patterned down like this, you kind of feel like they're a short till they're not. Like prove it to me through a resistance level before getting too on board with the bounce. For the day trade, you can scalp any kind of long or short here. I'm talking about a momentum shift because I haven't seen a momentum shift in any of these downtrends.
Yeah, the name that I mean, he mentioned many different names. I like Roblox. Today we're going to talk about that off the earnings. I thought it was a really great quarter, and we'll get a second here to see what winds up happening with Roblox. Oh, okay. There. Oh, wow. Okay, yeah. So we are going to go over all of this. I mean, I like the fact that there was a 94% increase in daily active paid users, right? And so I think that that's going to be a big sign, obviously, for Roblox there. You know, getting these kids and whoever else is playing it, you know, to deposit a little bit of money in there, and the fact that those numbers are going higher. Obviously, they're not even making any money, Roblox. So that's going to be a big problem. So it's a growth story, and we know right now that growth is getting absolutely shellacked. And then they got that story with Unity, Google stepping into the game engine space, and that was a story of a week or two ago, and that sort of created this downside move. So let's see if Roblox can find a base. I mean, the base might not be till 50 or 55. I mean, but as we keep saying, you know, you throw enough sort of darts at these things and eventually one's going to stick. So, you know, buying down into here isn't the end of the world, understanding that you may have to, you know, keep a couple arrows in the quiver to buy, you know, when you get back into this $50 level. But that you could also use yesterday's sort of wipeout low as maybe your bottom of $60. I mean, you're sitting now at 67. So 10% worth of risk to gain like 100%, like not that we're going all the way back up, but even if you get back up to the 200 or even the 50 period moving average is a 25% return from here. So I think it's something to think about there for Roblox. So I do really like the quarter there, and I think that there's something about it, up 10%. I think we can get up a lot more than that, but I'm not sure of I mean, it's going to be, the sticky note's almost out, and it's on there. I just, you know, I'm pretty bearish on the day. I mean, we'll see what the Nasdaq does. I mean, it's just now ticking higher, but if the market gets to the downside, then we don't want to sit on a bid for Roblox, right? But I do think that the 64, 65 area is something to look at for that kind of a bid. So thank you for the question. I do like the stock, and I think we can move forward on some green days ahead for Roblox. Let's go back over to the desk.
Right, there he is. Andre just getting Michael Noss set to go here on a Friday morning with his look on what we've seen so far this week and maybe what to expect going into next week, because, hey, earnings season is continuing. We're not done yet. Happy Friday, Mr. Noss. Good to see you as always. I'm glad you brought this morning because I was even having this conversation, you know, sitting here with Sharif this morning. And I think the underlying message is very important in that. And, you know, we've been talking about this since the beginning of the year. This is rotation more than it is, you know, Armageddon, as media has been portraying it. You know, I was looking, SPY's down like 1% on the week. You know, almost 3 for the Nasdaq, but could be a lot worse, obviously, when you look at big tech specifically. So when you take, you know, the fact that IWM could even be green on the week by the end of today, if, you know, we hold these gains this morning and continue with a little bit of a rally here, I mean, it's not that bad. This is rotation.
Exactly, right? And that's my whole kind of, I feel like I'm the calming voice sometimes when I come onto these things. But the first slide I have is a bit of a meme. It's just markets in turmoil. Because if you go on Twitter, if you go on, you for whatever reason, watch CNBC, it seems like it's like the sky's falling. It's the end of the world. But I brought some charts and some drawdown charts, and I agree. It's very much overblown, which could mean two things. Could mean there's more down to go, or, you know, it could just mean that people are freaking out for some reason. But yes, this is, again, just kind of a meme. And I talk about the contrary indicator of the magazines all the time, right? Magazine cover loves this thing. Maybe you want to short it and vice versa. And we've been seeing a lot of stuff like this out there talking about how the market is down and how everything is feeling bad. But, you know, I think I found the source of this, and then it's the next chart here, which is MAGS. For those who don't know, this is just the Mag 7. This includes all of those names. We know some names like Microsoft are actually really having a hard time, where we have other names that, like Apple, that are doing just fine. But the Mag 7 is down 10%, and that is the imaginary line in the sand that we've put to say this is a correction. And I think this is where a lot of it's coming from. Obviously, software getting just absolutely taken to the woodshed. But I just wanted to zoom out. So this next chart is the same chart, just zoomed out. And this lower indicator that I have is just the drawdown from all-time highs. So just showing you how far down you are from wherever your all-time high peak is. And if you zoom out, and we're not even zooming out that far, this is just the beginning of 2025, it doesn't look that bad. You know, this was the tariff tantrum. We were down over 20% in this particular ETF with the Mag 7, and we're down a little bit less than half that right now. And that I think is great. You know, I come on all the time. I say I'm probably the only one out there that loves markets like this, because as someone who likes to buy relative strength, that relative strength I think is just slapping you in the face if you look around just a little bit. So next chart I have here, like Brendan was talking about, is just the Qs, right? I think this is part of the problem as well, where everyone's looking at this and saying, you know, 3 big red candles in a row to the downside, down like 7-8%. That feels, you know, pretty bad if you're holding that large cap tech. But this next chart is, you know, also Brendan's point, but not even the SPY. This is the RSP. So I talk about the RSP all the time, but for people who are new there, the S&P 500 is what's called a cap weighted index, which means the larger your company, the more of an effect you have on the S&P 500. The reason they do that is it turns out it's a really good investing strategy over time. It's why the S&P 500 has done well, basically giving more money to your best and your largest players. The RSP is the same 500 stocks, but equally weighted. So, you know, some an industrial company that you've never heard of that's in the S&P 500 has as much weighting as NVIDIA. And the ratio between the two basically shows you whether or not it's big cap tech that's having the problem or if it's everything in the market. So I use this as my representation for what is the average large cap stock doing, because it's looking at all of them. So the average large cap stock is less than 1% off all-time highs, right? And that was as of yesterday. And as of this morning, right, we're obviously moving higher. There is a world where today the average large cap stock makes a new all-time high. So I really want to just hammer that down for a second, because I think that is the difference between people who are really panicking and people who are wondering why other people are panicking. It's if you are having a very bad time right now, I think you're just overweighted to the AI play, to large cap tech. You know, we've been talking a long time about rotating around. So what I want to do is I want to just give a couple ideas of sectors that are holding on okay. And this first one here is the XLI with the same chart I have underneath. And you can see less than 1% from all-time highs. So what's the XLI? This is our industrials ETF. So think your Caterpillars and your John Deeres and anybody who is out there actually building real things in the world. They're doing just fine. Like, look at this chart. It had a little bit of a down, a green candle yesterday, and a little bit of a gap down, and really no action. You're comparing that to quantum computers and, you know, all these crazy things that were really, really elevated. They're having a bad time. But instead of focusing on those, I think it's better to focus on the stuff that is holding up okay. Next chart here is the XHP, and this is zoomed out a little bit. And this is pharmaceuticals. So there was some big announcement, I guess, last night with pharmaceuticals, something like a Trump RX or whatever. I don't know anything about that. But looking at this chart, pharmaceuticals look very interesting. So this is, again, think your Pfizer's and Moderna, anyone who sells drugs kind of directly to you. That is not only near all-time highs, but has this really nice tight base going on. So what I'm going to be doing this weekend, regardless of what the market does today, is a really good kind of post-mortem of these are the areas that got absolutely killed, and I'm going to ignore those. And these are the areas that are doing just fine. And just wanted to show that with the RSP out there, the average stock is doing absolutely just fine. Last but not least here, we have XLB, and this is materials. And what's interesting is that materials are doing actually okay, even with what we saw in silver and gold just getting like pummeled. And the fact that they're holding on okay means that there might be other places out there for people who like to trade materials and metals. I think the big takeaway is that the people who are building things are doing just fine, and it's the people who are focused on AI aren't. And that just leads to kind of the last thing I wanted to say here is that I remember the bear case the whole way up was as soon as the AI stuff starts getting sold off, the whole market is done. And the only reason we're going up is because of the Mag 7. And the only reason we're going up is because NVIDIA is going up every day. And I think it's very bullish out there that that's not happening, right? We are having the Mag 7 having a bad time. We're getting, Mag 7's not doing well. We're having the XLK software is doing horrible. The whole AI trade is having a bad time. And then the average large cap stock is less than 1% from all-time highs. So if anything, I think what happened this week is bullish. I'm sorry for anyone who's in a lot of these names, but yeah, for anything, I'm looking at this and saying we're holding on great considering what we're seeing with this unwind in the AI play.
I just brought up that XLE chart as well, just to add to your list there, because I mean, energy stocks seem fine as well. So if you zoom out a little bit, as we started this conversation with, you know, if the market is still more or less constructive and holding significant levels, then if you dig down a little bit, it's very important to understand if it's not tech that's leading, where the strength is coming from. So good luck going into next week as well, specifically, Michael. Is there something that you want to see to maybe add a little more confidence to this conviction, I guess, that, you know, the market's fine? Where do we go from here?
Yeah, I just want to see what happens when, you know, Bitcoin and the software companies and all of that just stop going down. They don't need to bounce. There's been pretty bad damage done in the software sector, but the fact that the whole market held up, it makes me think that if we just are done bleeding for at least a little bit of time across these sectors, that this market could really rebound. So I think for me, the focus is on the IWM, which you mentioned, and the RSP, because that is 2,500 stocks kind of equally weighted. So it gives you a really good idea of what the average stock is doing. And as long as that's holding up, I'm just going to be hunting under the hood for things going stronger. Eventually, if we start to continue to get the Qs going down a couple percent a day, which they did the last couple days, that will be contagion that spreads out at some point in confidence. But if we just stop going down and we just settle here for a long time, then I think that's overall constructive for the market.
We'll see what happens going into next week as well. Again, more jobs data potentially at some point to come here as well. Michael Noss, have a great weekend. We'll talk again on Monday.
Talk to you on Monday.
Yeah, thank you, Michael. And, you know, speaking of energy, like CVX from consolidations up like over 20%. From just the beginning of the year. So it's been doing a lot. And XLE's in the midst of a breakout. Look at a monthly chart of XLE. There's individual names that are going to do better, but that's the nature of, you know, the ETS versus individual stocks. But XLE is literally breaking out as we speak on the monthly. Like this current month's candle is our secondary breakout after getting through that 50 to end last week. So yeah, there's absolutely going to be some strength out there. But, you know, it's when we start to think about it, and I get it, like I was sort of saying the same thing about the SPY not being off all that much, and you know, look at your Caterpillars of the world and look at how the Dow has been holding up. But when we're looking at momentum as well, then the things that are moving the most are going to be of interest. So like everyone's in this, if you're in sort of like the day-to-day trading mentality of things, you know, you're going to notice, because where are your eyeballs going on a given day? Well, it's going to be going to something like a Robinhood that's moving the way that it happens to be right now. I'm going to pick on somebody I haven't picked on in a while. Like, you're just going to look at some distinct charts for the ones that are giving you the volatility. It did not break 10 yet, C3AI. But yeah, like that's like, yeah, this is a stock that's down a bajillion% over the last year and down like 40% in the last week, which is, like, it's crazy to say, but it's true. Like, it's like the stock has been down like 80 something. What is it? Yeah, like 80% from, I think the highs are back here at like the 50. But in just the last week, it's dropped from about $14. So it's been absolutely insane for some of these names. And that's where the momentum's been. So like all the big volume momentum has been to the downside, which is why people feel like they're in a panic. But you know, there's lots of great, boring stuff which is still going to the upside, and sometimes it's good to have some of that in your portfolio. And some of it, I'd argue some of the energy names are still good to get into. I wouldn't necessarily chase Chevron up there, but on the monthly, XLE is still breaking out, so you might be able to still catch that.
Yeah, we bought some XLE earlier this week, so we're pretty happy with that one. We've talked about the breakout that's been happening on XLE. So, yeah, I think energy is the next one to go. I've been in this name probably for 20 years, to be honest with you. And you know, you're just going to look at it. It's been doing haven't been in it for 20 years, but a long time. This is like the first kind of oil stuff that I've been looking to buy, and there's the breakout right there. So we're long around this $50 mark, trying to get higher right now. I think we're long at like 50, 65 or something like that. But there's the breakout happening. This is a monthly chart, so we're trying to break a little bit higher. We've seen this kind of similar thing happen with obviously gold and silver in the past year. So if energy wants to go, these names should go as well. Upgrades and downgrades, Joe.
Yeah, let's fire it up, guys. Let's see what we got going on here from some of the analyst actions this morning. A lot of earnings names here, guys. We're going to start things off with Reddit, RDDT. It is up substantially here this morning, 8.3%, but we're also getting a massive price target lower. I thought that we'd bring that to us here this morning, going from $240 to $170 by Cantor Fitzgerald. And then moving forward, once again, we have Roblox up double digits here this morning, guys, but price target being lowered by Oppenheimer from $150 to $130. Once again, you're up double digits. Then IREN as well too, guys, $136 to $82. Surprisingly so, it's trading around $36 right now, but once again by Cantor Fitzgerald. And then Peloton, I mean, if out of all of these four names, I would expect this one to be on the downgrades for sure. Peloton getting a price target lowered from $8 to $6, still slightly positive this morning. Now looking at some of the upgrades here, I know Amazon is to the downside, guys, but a price target raised by BMO Capital from 304 to 310 on Amazon. You're down a little bit less than 8%. Bloom Energy up a substantial 14% this morning as well too. Evercore ISI giving them the nod with a $152 price target being raised to $179. Once again, you are up 14%. Now Snap going from a sell to a hold with a $5.50 price target by Stifel. You're up 2.5% this morning. And Vistra as well getting the nod, guys, going from a neutral to a buy with a $205 price target.
Yeah, the last name on that list, you might be surprised to see like what Vistra and Constellation, like Constellation is down 40%. 40% from its highs. Vistra is down about 30-something% from its highs. Meanwhile, GE Vernova has basically been trending into the highs and is down like a few points. Like this one refuses to dip, but you start thinking about, well, if there's going to be a bit of a turnaround here, had they bottomed out? Now, I would venture to say this is a pretty distinct downtrend, so I don't know if any analyst upgrade is going to do it for you, but they're worth watching. Like I can't see that divergence continuing forever, where for the last 3 or 4 months, both these other names have broken trend and been heading downside, whereas GE Vernova's continued trend up. I think at some point there should be an opportunity. It's worth keeping an eye when we break this trend, although I would probably venture that Constellation, because Constellation's down heavier, is probably a better rebound if and when it does happen.
Look at some of these picks that we have on the show so far. We did talk to Michael Noss about like everything is, the average stock is a couple percentage points away. All right, my portfolio. We had picked these less than a month ago. Okay, Big Bear AI down 35%, Eli Lilly down 5%, Marvell down 10%. Neil, AVAV down 36%, CRISPR down. This is less than a month, 17%. I'm just saying, look at these names that we chose. Broadcom, Northrop Grumman, Joe, CrowdStrike, I love that name too, 19% down, right? JP, I know, this is in 3 or 4 weeks. JP Morgan down 4%, Walmart, Joe, there it is. You got that one. Brendo, look, these are names that we were like, okay, IREN, 20%, Tesla, 12%, CEG, this is in 3 weeks, man, we're bleeding over here. And then we got Adara, what up, Adara? There's as I said, man, picking the short right there. Starbucks actually with the long pick. So, these are some of the things that we talked about with Michael. These are both big cap stocks, and obviously Boeing's gonna be fine, but only down 1%. So here we go right there as well. So just to show you guys, like, there are lots of names that continue. Look at Ramin's Rocket Lab, ASTS, Netflix. Everybody liked this portfolio when it was chosen. So it's just a matter of I think you got to be careful about what stocks you're in, obviously. And those were returns right now and here we go. Here's the average, the total portfolio return. This is in 3.5 weeks. that we've done here. All these numbers in 3.5 weeks. So there's Obi with the shorts. He's got Sidis and Circle. Circle's pretty huge. And then there's Adara. And then this is our 3-week performance here. So not great there. But just to go show you that, it just goes back to what Michael was talking about. Sometimes it's a stock picker's market, and if you're picking growth right now, not so good. So 8:48, let's go back over to the desk, and we'll figure out where this market may potentially be going today.
Potentially more downside. We'll see. Going back to the conversation you and I were having about, what happened last year this time as well. The year's a long time, right? We have just begun as far as 2026 is concerned. I was just reading more on this Claude model, like some of the things that they're talking about. Apparently the new Claude model was trained entirely on financial data and is specifically designed for creating spreadsheets and financial analysis. And there's a whole article I was just reading that's essentially saying it's going to replace a Bloomberg terminal at some point. I don't know if it's there yet.
Funny how you bring that up too.
I don't know if it's there yet, but it's just amazing how quickly this stuff is ramping up.
But Anthropic is Claude, right?
Yeah.
Just so I'm not out to space. Did you see the Goldman headline today? And it's building on exactly what you're talking about. They basically trained off the Bloomberg or financial data, and Goldman obviously got wind of that, and they want to use it, Brendo, because they've been working closely with Anthropic. They said for 6 months to co-develop these autonomous AI agents, and they're supposed to automate trade accounting and client vetting and onboarding. So very much, I think they're like kind of stealing Perplexity's lunch a little bit, because we were talking about Perplexity being, that financially driven model.
Yeah.
Claude's kind of weaseling in.
I mean, I think this is a different level. Perplexity, from what I read anyways, Perplexity trained on Yahoo Finance, basically. And whatever's available on Yahoo Finance, more from a very surface level, there's no like analytics that you can do with it. It's just pulling
stuff,
PE for a stock or just random closing data for a stock, things like that. This sounds anyways a lot more complex, but it's just amazing. I mean, this article is basically saying right out of the box, this thing will replace a junior financial analyst.
That's crazy. And we've been seeing that though. We've been seeing that consistently. Where I don't know if you heard one of the podcasts on Compound. I think it was a few weeks ago. And Josh Brown was making the argument, essentially, he stopped hiring kids out of university. He wants 2- and 3-year grads.
Yeah.
And then one of the reasons he said is because he wants them to know how good it is working at a company, right? Whereas, if you're just coming straight out of school, you don't know if you've got it good or got it bad. You have no idea. You have no experience off which to base your assessment. But the point is, right, that these 2-3 year kind of, let's just call them entry-level positions, can, for some things, be outdone by AI.
Another tie-in to this, Reddit coming back into the aftermarket levels right now. I just made a session low, but it's bouncing back up a little bit. Reddit's quickly becoming the top source. Every time you run a query or a deep research on ChatGPT, it's always Reddit that's at the top of the list of where it's pulling, the information from. That being said, we're basically right back to 160, 158 right now, coming back in pretty quick.
And I give my specific prompts. I tell them for certain things, if I want recommendations on, restaurants, I don't want it to go on sites where, you could be compromised. I want honest opinions. So I'll specify in my prompt, check Reddit, specifically for this, that, or the other.
Yeah, it's a good idea.
And it seems to work pretty good, especially if you're looking for something kind of very niche. And you don't want influences from advertising here and there. So that's kind of what I meant there. But I really like Reddit, and obviously it's been a great runway for them to kind of license their data to these LLMs 100%. And generate revenue that way.
100%. 160, guys, potential level here today for Reddit?
Okay, so we'll get to Reddit in a second, but Micron just dropped $10 in the last couple of minutes here. So I haven't heard or seen anything hit the wire, but Micron, I'll do the little thing where I try to fix my mic. Hopefully that worked. So Micron was gapping and looking very good and dropped all the way to 380 from 396. Now a bit of a bounce. I've seen or heard nothing on Micron, but I just wanted to make sure everyone saw that as, just these little signs that we've been selling off in the morning. since almost everything gapped up after yesterday, and even Reddit here, it's just been a very slow trickle back in. So instead of thinking, hey, we're breaking out past a 170, you got to look at Reddit. Well, I mean, whatever, you don't have to do anything, but the way I like to look at it is you're in the pullback mode and you had a very distinct resistance at 156. So if we're not breaking to fill this gap, which quite frankly is a heck of a lot more exciting, right? Like double bottom, break this gap, go $10, everyone's happy, Reddit's made a bottom, good numbers, exciting, yay. No, we're filling the gap back into 156 it seems, and now you're waiting to test this prior high for Reddit. But I don't know, that Micron move, it's just, there's something about this morning, like everything that was gapping and looking strong is just, it was just a slow sell-off, which makes you think we could get a dip at the open. We'll see. Yeah. I want to see how Micron reacts to that, or maybe if something comes off the wire for them. But yeah, but I'm waiting for 156 would be the area on Reddit.
Yeah, I mean, that's why I'm feeling bearish. I've already talked about that a little bit. So if the market goes to the downside, I'm not going to be surprised. But the thing is like how to act on it. I'm going to use the TQQs. I'm not going to use Reddit. But I said this yesterday actually on the show as well. I like the Roblox number, and I actually liked Reddit as well. I mean, I said this, and again, join us on major market days. We were after hours 4 days this week, so it was pretty good. Was it Monday? Yeah, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, yeah. So yeah, falling right back into these levels. So I think this is going to be a good dip buy opportunity for Reddit as we watch out for the LLMs, right? I mean, these guys are going to continue to make money on queries and everything and accessing their software, accessing their API, you know, as more large language models start to look for, you know, information to run off of. I think Reddit's a pretty, you know, well-designed space to get information, kind of like the YouTube algorithm there, you know, making sure that you see things that you like, just introducing forums to you, getting you on the platform a little bit more. And they're just starting to run out ads and everything. I mean, the ad space was a good space for them. So I don't know if that can get monetized, and I don't know if AI will really hurt Reddit by any stretch of the imagination. I think it can only help them, you know, cater and tailor your experience better on Reddit. So, you know, like my kids don't know anything about Reddit, and I think it's still one of those things that's well underutilized, but I think eventually, just for the resource that it is, for breaking news, for the unfiltered situation, right? Like the thing, a lot of people like X because you do have a lot, you know, easy to place your opinions, easy to post up videos and all that kind of stuff. Reddit is a very similar format for that, except for you can get very, very specific and join certain forums and groups that you really like, so communities. I like Reddit. I think it's been absolutely killed here in the sort of software tumble that we've seen. I think it's a buy down here, especially after earnings, but not a buy today. I'm gonna give this a little bit of a beat here. And I'm trying to only really buy indexes at this point. I do have a lower bid for Amazon today to add to my tech stack, like, but Reddit could be a name to get some interest going as well here today. The spread's going to be quite large on this to start with, so let's see if it does give us a base, and then we can base and rip off of that. But yeah, I really like Reddit. I think it's a great long-term story, and this would be a name that I think you'd be happy buying here. But you know, you got to be confident in the market, because a lot of these stocks don't really care about the story. It's about the momentum. And right now, the momentum is down, you know, so this hold might be a good spot. Nibble in Reddit if you like it. There could be some more pain coming through. I don't expect this to be a huge year for a lot of these tech names, but we've already had quite the spill in the last 2 weeks. 260 to 160. I mean, if you like the name, it might be worth picking something up. All right, let's go back over the desk. It's 8:57. We have our watch list, which is pretty packed today. I mean, we had a huge amount of earnings last night. We had names like UNH and this kind of stuff on the Trump RX news, Oscar, Molina, all these healthcare names starting to go to the downside.
Stellantis.
Well, yeah, Stellantis, yeah, completely different than the healthcare. But yeah, another move down there for Stellantis as the auto parts business maybe not as great as we once thought. Let's go back over to the desk and get going on today's market breakdown.
Just reading through some depressing Canadian employment data that came across here this morning. I still don't really understand how, but for some reason the unemployment rate went down when we lost way more jobs than were expected. 25,000 It was versus a small gain that was supposed to come through.
Was it the gains? I'm assuming in probably part-time or
I have to dig into it.
yeah, or
a
maybe
little bit
some
more.
seasonality because it was like the yeah. It's a tough look. Prime Minister Carney was talking a little EVs yesterday. I don't know if you had opportunity to see. We got the 5,000. It was always 5,000 on this side of the border.
The credit.
EV tax credit, but he's removed, very popular move, the EV mandate. So he kind of gives a lot of these car companies, car manufacturers, a little bit of flexibility to be more market driven, Brendo, and what the consumer wants as opposed to what the government wants. So nice to see.
We'll see.
Someone who wants to buy a car as well, you know, maybe a couple of years, that 5,000 might help a little bit, Brendo.
I mean, this day and age, 5,000 doesn't get you much.
It's honestly
as far as the car goes.
Good point.
Let's have a look at the market here.
All right, 677.5, guys. That's the official close on the SPY. But as you see, we were well below that. We got to a low, guys, of almost 670. I think we got to about 670 and a fifth, 670 and a half. The point is, though, the closing print defends that December 16th level, December 16th, December 17th, despite the fact that we did make a lower low. We lost that January 21st level. So we'll have to see if that December 16th, 17th level is more important in any event. We're looking at a support level of yesterday's close, 677.5. And then we have a base here at 687.5 that we were using as support. Now we're going to look at as resistance.
All right, if you haven't done so yet, make sure you grab the watch list. Comes out every single morning before we come on at 8 o'clock. Super easy. Below in the description, top link will get you to the sign up page. And then all you need is your email address. Has everything that's moving in the pre-market and why. Zoomed out here on Amazon just to give some perspective. That's a weekly chart right now. We've been in this kind of sideways consolidation going back to summer, really, of last year. I mean, 255, 260 the high, 220, 215 the low, but there's really not much decisive, break here yet. We'll see how today plays out. It
held the $200 level that we used to lovingly call the Bezos shelf from the south side, of course, now that it's cleared. So that's the good news, but there was more bad news, especially on the top line. There was an EPS miss, guys. $1.95 versus the $1.97 expected, albeit a modest miss. Revenue, an eye-watering, Brendo, $213.39 billion ahead of the $211.33 expected. Net income rising to about $21.5 billion. That is up from the $20 billion in profit they took home last year. Now, AWS, everybody wants to know what's going on with AWS. Well, they grew at a 24% year-over-year growth, not bad, bringing in about $35.58 billion. That is ahead of the $34.93 expected by analysts. Advertising revenue, though, very, very seldomly spoken of here when it comes to Amazon. But look at this number, $21.32 billion, and that is a higher margin product, believe it or not, than AWS. Even though AWS is in the 70%, this is in the mid-80% gross margins, and that number's creeping up to AWS's top line number. And let's get to the Capex. 2026 Capex of around $200 billion. The street was looking for 146.6. I was surprised that the street had a higher estimate for Amazon's Capex than they did for Google. I didn't expect that because they were expecting 115 for Google. They were expecting 146 here. So not too bad.
That revenue number is still just ridiculous, mind-boggling. I did the math earlier this morning. It was something like 300 and hold on, I'll grab it. Yeah, $331,481,000 an hour in revenue for Amazon.
Yeah, well, the crazy thing is that they had their best growth ever for AWS percentage-wise. Like, it's their most rapid growth. And it was, like, the 24% was half of Alphabet's. Like, Alphabet came with 49%, and they come with 24%. And that's their best ever. And then you throw in the Capex number, and it's not hard to see. Like we're in a market now. You said you were saying it's a stock pickers market. Inside the Mag 7, it's the same thing too. And if one Mag 7 name looks better than the other, then that's where the money's going to end up flowing. And I think after earnings, Google, Alphabet got a win. And for now, I think Amazon takes a bit of a hit. Does it feel a little overdone? I would argue that it does. Today, you're at the 200 level gives you just a fantastic litmus test here, because you held 200 in the aftermarket. Actually, you know what? Let me just quickly double check Blue Ocean here, because I just realized I didn't look at the overnight to see how we reacted with the $200 level. Uh-oh, don't jinx it. Yeah, so yeah, you had support at the 200 level in the overnight market as well, so there were buyers down there. So today, especially being a Friday, as long as you can hold on to 200, I think that's a good sign for the dip buy. Last time, I think it was this time off the 200 period, it was like 2 or 3 days before you even had that bottom made. And then the next time it tested the 200 period moving average, you had 2 or 3 days down around there to catch the bid. So at this 200 level, I don't think a decision needs to be made for 2 or 3 days for the dip buy. As for the day trade, this one's not on my list for the day trade. I like crypto. We like some silver for sure in the chip space, some Intel, and I like Hims and Hers for a sell today. But Amazon for that dip buy after earnings, the pattern has been you don't have to have it on day one. You can wait for probably maybe Tuesday and see if as long as we're above the 200 level, then I think you stick in the buy.
So yesterday was day one, obviously, of Google, and the 316 level we had written down on our sticky note. You can go back and look at it. It was about the best it could. I couldn't ask for better. So today we're going to try Amazon 200. That's going to be a play for me here. We're going to have patience. This is not something, again, like when we saw that Google 316, right? It wasn't like you sat there because you got run over early and then it held from 10 o'clock, and it held for like an hour, 316. So why can't it hold again here for Amazon, right? So we'll just have a quick little look at what this looks like here. There's 200 bucks. The low was 190. I mean, this is just early. I mean, it did get lower when Bitcoin finally broke 60, as we had mentioned there. But yeah, 197, 198, like those were some of the lows. So let's go and see if we can hold this 199.50 to 200 area, because I do think that this does come in, and then that's why it's the whole patience thing. The minute you see 200, you don't have to just hit the buy key. Let's let it work off of that level. It's going to be quite violent. Like yesterday, as an example, we saw what Google did early. It just went whoops, all the way to the downside. So we started here, we started, the midday, the mid show, like 8:30, around that 320. Then we went all the way down to 307 or 308. And then look at this. Here's 316 right here. It held for an hour and gave you your whole month trade. You just had to go long there, and you're huge. I was up 15 bucks all the way to that level, right? So we were actually short up there and dipped and covered here, but we should have gone long. So yesterday, because we were a little bit short of everything else, we were hesitant to go long. But today, if the market's going to stay upside, then Amazon's going to give me a little bit more confidence to go long, especially if the Qs start printing up. So let's wait to see what happens around $200. We nailed it yesterday. Let's see if we can do it again here today. It's Amazon. It's $200 level. And I'm not sitting there, but we're going to be paying attention to it.
All right, we'll get to crypto coming up here in a second. Still having a little bit of communication problems around here this morning with our software, but bear with us. We've all bought the dip, convinced we found a safe entry, only to be hit with painful losses. But what if you could see where pressure was building somewhere? Most traders never look. In the options market, join Spot Gamma Wednesday, February 11th, 1 p.m. for their free live webinar. Volume triggers, the #1 cash indicator. You'll discover how to apply options-driven signals to see when the bottom can fall out. Insight every equities, options, and futures trader can use to generate an edge and avoid losses. Scan the QR code to reserve your seat and start putting Spot Gamma's top early warning alerts system to work for you today. Let's go on to crypto here. We're back to 38 bucks, which, if you zoom out, was that initial support on the way down yesterday. So can we hold? That's the key question here today.
59,888.75, Breno. That's what I got on my chart. Anyway, I think everybody might be a little bit different, but that's what I've got. So barely holding on to that, let's just call it the $60,000 level. The move comes after, of course, that prolonged bear market that began once Bitcoin peaked back in October at 126,000. It's continued to drop in lockstep with U.S. tech stocks this week, and even more elevated volatility because of gold and silver. They've added to that kind of cross-asset instability. Broader tape, though, sadly, does remain a little bit speculative. So we'll have to see how this trades today. And forced liquidations, we always want to talk about this. A wave, this article cites, of forced liquidations accelerated the downside momentum on Thursday. About $2 billion in longs were liquidated at one point. That adds to the $800 million that were that were liquidated on Friday. And data for crypto quant is showing that US Bitcoin ETFs have now flipped as net sellers in 26. Institutional investors have an average price, Brendo, of around 90,000. So they're either, they're holding the bag, they're out of the money, or they were the ones selling yesterday. And analysts note that much of the selling occurred during US trading hours, which is suggesting that the institutions here are the ones that are selling.
Yeah, we saw that with the outflows as well, going back to the beginning of the week. Good news, guys. I have, I think, figured out our Unity issue, so hopefully all is well.
Yeah, well, all's not well. By the way, Micron all's not well. It's actually, it was still dropping even though we couldn't find a particular news story for it. Actually bounced off $370. So all said and done, it dropped about 7.5% to the downside and now catching a bit of a bid. So going red on the session after gapping up. But IBIT, it's been Bitcoin, IBIT, it's been a short. I think everyone, kind of realizes that if you were short this thing the last few days, it has worked every single day. We were short at the open yesterday. I'm looking at this level here. It's like 38.8 to 39. And if you there was a morning bounce, right? So like the first bounce when you kind of came into the volume weighted average price later and then got to this 38.8, you're still underneath 70K. So you're getting a decent bounce, but it's not, like we're not breaking back through any monster price levels yet, especially if you don't take out that 70,000 level. But one thing that was a shift for me was early, it was short IBIT early, but then BM&R later, and BM&R ended up being weaker. So I will probably look at both of these today. The 19 level is like right away on BM&R, whereas if we pop, I wait for the Bitcoin level, 19 will be right away. If we don't pop on BTC right away, then I think an earlier trade in BM&R is going to make some sense because it's got a little bit more room to its next resistance level. Until we're breaking that prior resistance, I'm still looking short back into it. And yeah, we had to pay for locates on BM&R, but they're relatively cheap here at Real Trading.
I think Bitcoin goes lower, guys, honestly. I'm not going to be going long on crypto today. This is a 5-minute chart. Obviously, you're well above the 200 period and the 50 period moving average. I mean, it could be a long. It's just for me right now, I'm going to just hold out and wait to see if this trend, is confirmed, right? And you did have a dip down area there of 64,000 or so. Like we said yesterday around 7 o'clock, we did break that $60,000. But look at the buy support from 60. I mean, it hit 60. It's a 5-minute chart. 20 minutes later, you're up 5% to 63,000. So it had quite the move off that low. So I just kind of want to see if we do get a move down in, where is that next sort of bounce zone, right? And so I'm, right now I'm looking at it and I'm saying 64,000 I think would be a spot where if we did come back in, that we could wind up holding this. So this is from last night. It looks like it's 11 p.m. or so. And then this morning we got it around 4 a.m. So let's just be careful with trying to buy too many dips here today, but I wouldn't be surprised if it goes, because the next sort of level that it may want to test, believe it or not, is all the way to 70. Can we go from 60 to 70 in 24 hours? Yeah, that's just how violent the market's been. And yeah, crypto just has buyers, but where? And I think the only time we really were able to find it was down here at 60,000. I should put a volume up on here just so you can see, but I'm sure it's pretty extreme. So there's 63, 64. So, in this area, I think is where we wind up falling down to on BTC, and everything else got crushed, man. XRP went to 110, or Solana got down into $74 last night. This is, again, when I got the warning that I was at chess with my son, and it was just like, oh my God, this whole thing is completely cracking lower. Now Ripple, this is 110 or so. So now you're up to 142. That's 30% back right there on XRP. Let me refresh this. Is this even right? Yeah, okay, wow, that's a huge move back up. Solana, I saw at $72, $74. That's now at 82. So that's another 13, 14% on that, right? Dogecoin down to 9%, wow. I mean, but why do you have a $4 billion market cap? Why does Dogecoin have a $4 billion market cap? There's still a lot, Cardano $2 billion. There's still a lot of money that's sitting in these coins, and it's just kind of okay, maybe we need to flush even more, but I don't know, 66,000 right there. We'll see what winds up happening. It's been a bad 7 days. Ethereum's been taking it on the chin the most. Me and Tom Lee, again, will probably get together for Super Bowl, so I'm going to once again talk to him about that. He never really tells me what he's betting on. When he ever tells me financial advice, you know which way we go. So, but at the end of the day, I'm thinking about asking him what he thinks about Ethereum. So we'll wait. Here comes Amazon pulling down to 202 again. I would say stick with Ethereum, stick with Bitcoin, but that Ripple level there at 110, what a move higher into 140. So that would be something interesting to watch. XXRP on your screens today might be worth it.
All right, Roblox next here, coming back in, trying to hold 65 right now, but it was one of the few last night when it came out that was just immediately positive and held up quite nicely until this morning. In fact, we're coming back in though. A decent report though for Roblox.
Great report. They beat on everything. I just didn't know that they weren't profitable. I mean, they're still losing money, Brendo. 45 pennies per share loss. The street was looking for 48, so a narrower loss per share there. And bookings did surge over 2 billion. 2.22 billion, well ahead of the 2.05 expected by analysts, and their daily active users, their DAOs, increased 69% year over year, now up to 144 million daily active users, with Q4 bookings rising as well, 63% year over year. Their outlook, what are they guiding for Q1? They're saying bookings are going to come in between 1.69 to 1.74 billion. That does beat analyst expectations. The company did announce, though, it will stop issuing annual guidance starting in 27. So we'll have to wait. Obviously, we have another year for that. Safety and age verifications, they did take a bit of a hit here. So they completed a global age verification rollout in January, and management did acknowledge that they did see a mid-single-digit drag on engagement and growth and low single-digit headwind to bookings as a result of the change we see in Australia, other jurisdictions as well. And listen to this, Brendo. So new age data shows 35% of their users, 35, are under 13 years old. 38 are between 13 to 17, and only 27 are over 18. And that kind of jives with my understanding of, you know, the attractiveness of this platform. It's more like young to mid-teens.
Interesting.
Hard to monetize those people, though.
Oh,
that's
definitely.
my point.
Yeah, definitely. You monetize their parents, like
yes.
The round trip here, guys. If you zoom out to a weekly chart, you get the round trip here entirely for 2025 completed for Roblox now.
Oh, I was about to tell Sean, we had like 15 minutes getting back from Ninja Parkour, and it's like we got to get ready for bed. It's kind of late because it's one of those evening things. She's like, "Can I play Roblox?" I'm like, "You can only play for like you play for like 10 minutes." She's like, "No, I want to play Roblox." I'm like, "Okay, fine, do it. I got to do dishes. I got to do this. I got to make your lunch." It's just, but it's just, yeah. It's the only thing they're not doing is making money. Let's just get that one out of the way. And I think that's what's going to be holding them back. Because I think once profitability comes in, it'll probably be too late. Because if you're looking for a bottom, well, heck, you're going to find it when they get profitable. So it'll have already made it when they turn that corner. And so therefore, you're looking for places to get in. I'm just not completely convinced that we're there yet. And part of it is just utter lack of, like, look what are they doing to this thing in the pre-market, first of all. Like, this is much like Reddit. You started to feel pretty good last night. Like, look at how this was setting up for a break and a runaway from 76. Instead, the prior resistance won, and it won big, and we pulled back more than 10% from there. So I can't get on board with this one today, given how far it's fallen up. But I think it's definitely at the point where, you know, I've never owned it, and just how much my daughter loves it, looking to nibble into it. I'll give it a couple of days here. I just can't stand the way that it got sold off this pre-market. On what everything else was a good report. It's just they're not making money yet. So I can't pull the trigger on this one. Maybe it'll break trend or give us something a little bit over the 50 period in the coming days and weeks. But it was that 76 break that was getting me excited. You're literally $10 away from that. 15% away from what I thought was a potential breakout trade. That's just, it's not in the cards.
Yeah, no, I wrote down Roblox here on the sticky note today to get long if we do get into the 64, 65 area. But I had already talked about this. I am feeling bearish today. I just think that there is a world here where Roblox holds this level. I thought it was a great report. The problem here is there's going to be legal issues, and they're not making any money. We do know that there's been, you know, talk of limiting, obviously, screen times and things like that. We saw Australia sort of ban Meta and, from, I think it was under 18 years old or something like that. So I'm not worried about those kind of markets. I don't think the United States would do anything, that dramatic. But yeah, I just worry about sort of the price action early on this. But I really do like the name. I think after it's been beat up so much right here, the big worry was Roblox. The engine that they don't create the games. They just provide, the software for people to build on top of. So Google came out a couple weeks ago, or last week, or a week and a half, or 2 weeks ago, and said that they were building a similar engine there. We saw Unity get hit, and then they went back up the next day. And I know that there's been some pushes and pulls on that. So yeah, like Roblox basically wasn't a thing. I mean, Roblox has been around for like 15 or 20 years. Like my 20-year-old was on Roblox and Minecraft. I don't know if I shouldn't say, maybe it's not 15 years, but I think it has staying power. I just worry about that whole social media screen time type of stuff, But anyway, $64 I think would be an area for me to look at. Let's see if it winds up holding it. Not very smart for me to put some bids out right now. So yeah, we'll check Roblox back at some point today. But I do think it's a long, especially if this market rebounds, man. Like if we start to get a buy the dip mentality, I think people will run to good reports, and Roblox already up 8%. The market likes the report. So I don't need to like it that's up 8%. So we'll see if it winds up holding these bid levels at $64.
Galaxy, GLXY starting to go here up to 1950 on a buyback, it looks like, 200 million. Share buyback just announced and approved from the board for Galaxy Digital. Let's go on. I mean, last night was so busy with all of these things, just absolutely packed. Reddit, obviously, back to 160 where we were just discussing. AMD, another one this morning moving around. Both of these, Intel and AMD, kind of in the same boat here when it comes to the China story, which is really interesting. Will they or won't they? I mean, we talked about the NVIDIA angle on this.
Yep.
Now it's kind of focusing more on AMD and Intel.
Yeah, and it's really specific to China too, Brendo. So here's the deal. So apparently, because everybody is trying to get their hands on AI chips, Intel and AMD are, yes, facing tighter server CPU supplies in China as AI infrastructure demand strains the global chip pipeline. Intel warned that delivery lead times for their server CPUs could stretch as long as 6 months. So AMD also flagged supply constraints. They said possibly up to 8 weeks. AMD is taking more immediate action. They're trying to add supply right now with Taiwan Semi. Intel, we know they do their own foundry business, so we'll have to see how they end up doing that. China represents, by the way, guys, over 20% of Intel's revenue. AMD, not so much exposure, and we saw that declining number, which kind of caught my attention when they reported earnings, 390 million in sales for the past quarter, the one that they reported on. And for the current quarter that we're in, they're only guiding 100 million, despite the fact that they got the nod from the Commerce Department to go ahead and sell the MI455. But I know this is server specific here, CPUs, but they're not really as exposed, my view, to China as much as Intel is.
Yeah, we'll see. I mean, semiconductors looking a little bit better here this morning. Whether or not we get any kind of follow through remains to be seen. Speaking of buybacks, 1 billion for Reddit also among the positive notes from this report. But again, we're similar to Roblox here. Reddit coming back in a hurry this morning, right back to aftermarket highs.
Brendo, there wasn't a lot to dislike about this report.
No.
This was a good report in most instances, guys. I mean, EPS beat, revenue easily beat. They guided Q1 revenue comfortably ahead of the street's expectations. Adjusted EBITDA continues to go. Now they're buying back shares to the tune of $1 billion. Their global daily active users rose about 19%. They did mark, though, the 6th straight quarter of deceleration in their global daily active users. So that number keeps dropping a little bit one at a time. So we'll have to see how they kind of manage that.
A few people mentioning this HIMS again. This thing got absolutely destroyed yesterday. The sell-off continued into the aftermarket. We are bouncing a little bit here, but if you missed it this morning, the FDA vowing, quote unquote, swift action against any copycat GLP-1 drugs that are ineffective. So if you missed the story yesterday, they came out with that, what was it, $49 or something?
Exactly.
Basically a knockoff of GLP-1. some of the other companies, there was multiple that actually came out and instantly said, don't buy it, it's not going to work. So it's just, it's a complete scam. Looks like the FDA going to look into that.
And they got an immediate letter from Novo Nordisk, cease and desist, do not sell our products. So yeah, it reversed sharply here, about 15% here in the it spiked about 15% yesterday. Novo called the move illegal, directly, I should say, challenging Hims' right to sell the semaglutide-based copycat pill. They were kind of looking at $49 a month for the first month, but that was to lure you in. Then it was about $100 a month, but that's still $50 less than what Novo is charging direct to consumer, $150 a month. Obviously, if you have a plan that covers it, it's a different story, but most plans don't cover these GLP-1s. But $150 a month, undercutting them by 50.
I was reading this morning that Trump website went live with a similar, type of thing to Hims, but obviously not with scammy type products on it. A whole bunch of stuff there, guys. Hims, we got Reddit, we got AMD, we got Intel. Take your pick.
Hims and Intel, I feel like fool me once, shame on you. Fool me twice, shame on me. Fool me thrice, we can't get fooled again. Pop, drop, pop, drop. Like every time this is on, and each time there's been like some positive headlines the last couple of mornings on Hims. Well, it's going up again right now. And this little gap fill here, I wrote the 22.5, which is, once you get into the gap from last night, look for the fade into that prior close. And then Intel's kind of a similar story, just at the $50 level. Tries to break 50, fail. Tried to break 50, fail. Abject fail. Actually didn't even get short until it was the 48 short on that 50 turn. It still went down to 47. So I'm looking for the fail of a 50 break. Again, Intel's got good news, and alongside of AMD, it's more just the pattern here, especially it being a Friday as well. If we don't close any candles above $50, then you haven't really held $50. So until that happens, just look for the back end of the trade. And if I see it pop and drop and topping tail candle, I'll still take the next available short too, even if it ends up being a bit of a chase, because the pattern, everything's just about the pattern, and that's the pattern that we've been seeing in both Intel and Hims, completely unrelated, but they've got the same look. They've both been fading on good news.
I like Reddit. I almost put it on instead of Roblox, but same kind of a play. If Reddit falls back into this 154 area, I think that's something to talk about. So right now, Amazon's starting to go upside a little bit. So we have the imbalances that just came out. Hold on a second, let me get these imbalances out to show you guys. Maybe there's an Amazon bid here. There. Sucks. IBIT with the bid, so that's nice. We can see if that's going upside there. Remember, Bitcoin and IBIT are obviously attached, so just because there's a bid here doesn't mean someone's going to run in and buy Bitcoin. Ethereum with a bid, but this might be a buy the dip scenario. I mean, most of the top names here, the top 6 or 7 names are all bids. And there we go. I just saw Amazon. There it is. So 400,000. So someone's buying it anyways. We'll see if that $200 level can hold. I'm on that, so we'll see. NVIDIA was just a sell, so that's probably load. Not really. I was going to say maybe that's heading downside, but we didn't even really talk about NVIDIA today. That's up 2.5% right now today. So NVIDIA trying to get going as well off of some of those bottoms. I mean, a lot of these levels are pretty key. Like we came in yesterday and we talked about, I mean, you could see it. To sit there and to be able to buy these names down in the 160s and 170s, like, seems like a deal considering we're up to 210 on his last earnings report. So here we go, man. It should be a wild ride. I'm still, the number one idea for myself is shorting these Qs, but it needs to break lower. Like I'm not just going to instantly short them immediately. There is a level here of 49 that we can look at. Yeah, not really. Like if the market blasts, then I think that's maybe even a takeout long right there. I'm going to wait to see I wrote down 47.80 or so area, and that was basically this break right into here on the Nasdaq. So if we can break this area and get to the downside, I think we can slap that short and maybe even use 48 as our out. So I feel like comfortable if and when that winds up hitting there. And then I have AMD written down as a short as well. And you guys can go check it out at Trader TV Sean. This is just an idea that, and what Trader SIOX or something like that in the chat is always telling me to stick with the note because it's been fire, and sometimes I get carried away. So let's wait to see if AMD can get to this 205, 206 short area as well. So I know we just looked at NVIDIA for 1 minute. These are up 3%. So Can they go up 6%? Let's see. And if they do, then I think we should be there ready to short it. So this is what I'm going to be doing for advanced micro devices. And maybe if we zoom back out just a little bit, there's the top area that I'm talking about. So this is like between 204 to 205. We'll see if we can get back up there. So there's only a minute, actually 2.5 minutes left. So we actually came back to us with a little bit of time here. So that's what I'm going to be looking at. You know, not really watching the VIX or the dollar or anything. There goes the market to the downside right now. So, I mean, it's probably starting out a little bit early. Let's be careful with what we're doing. Tesla just broke through 400 again. They went up to 403 or 404 there, and then just had right there 402.50. Down now $2 on this little move for the market. So yeah, man, I think the fund is just getting started. I've been calling short sort of all morning. Here we go. Let's wait to see what winds up happening. I was even thinking bearish up here when we made this move, but didn't want to get involved yet. So, you know, the day's early. We didn't put on our biggest trade until might have even been the afternoon yesterday. So let's be patient, wait for it, and it should be another fun one here with volatility on our mind on this Friday.
Yeah, and by the way, this Micron story, first of all, there's no story. Sorry, this Micron move is what I should be saying. It just continues. It's right back into 375, back into the lows. It all started $20 ago for Micron without any kind of a headline that we're able to see. And it's now starting to drag a lot of other things down with it. Hey, we still have 1 minute.
Yeah.
I like it. We're not kind of. I always feel like we're kind of rushed going into the open. But just to give you an example, look at SNDK. This hasn't dropped a bit. SNDK is actually at its morning high. So it's not as if the memory names are all falling together. This is seemingly just something that's happening to Micron. IBIT had that big buy imbalance. Well, I mean, it's 1 million shares. Whatever. It's actually not that big, but it did have the 1 million buy and bounce. Small bounce off the volume weighted average price. We'll wait. If we're above VWAP, we'll be waiting for a test of these prior highs from the day before on that NBMNR. Amazon, as you said, already heading back into the downside for sure. And then we didn't talk about Apple. Apple breaking higher. I didn't see a buy and bounce on it, but since the imbalances came out, it did spike upside. So once again, when the market starts to look weak, or the Nasdaq, I should say, when the Nasdaq starts to look weak, Apple seemingly a buy. Suddenly that 273 support level on Apple doesn't look as likely because we are at the high of the day. And this opening bell brought to you by PDS Biotechnology, PDSB. You can find them on the Nasdaq as we ring it for the final time this week. Well, the opening bell anyway.
Yeah. I mean, well, we don't even have people want us to have that official bell, I know.
We just don't use it.
Okay, here we go, man. Welcome to the jungle. All right, so here we go. We've got fun and games. There goes Tesla. Tesla's $3.99, but Amazon did dip that down into 201, so we can watch to see this name as the market opens up, and to relatively no movement here on Amazon. We'll have a check out. Yesterday we saw the epic collapse, obviously, in Google, and then a rally backside as well. AMD kind of just doing meh. Tesla, $299, $399 right there on sale. $399.99 on sale for Tesla. Looking to see if we can break lower on this one. Here goes the market right now. We're going to see if there is a bounce back. We're not touching VWAP. Those are bad prints. So we're just right here right now. We're going to wait to see what winds up happening. My eyes are focused on the TQQs, but we're kind of flat right there. And then the other reporting names, Amazon, Roblox, Reddit. So it looks like for now, Roblox is holding that $64 mark, but not open yet. I don't see any opening print, so there's that. And then Reddit, again, another New York name. Is this open yet? No, it is not. So both reporting names on the New York not open yet. Amazon touching 200 right now.
Yeah, the market's not moving a whole lot here. NVIDIA, though, is decidedly decidedly red to open up. And I actually see like IBIT's bouncing, Intel's not challenging that 50, but it's actually headed to the upside. But you are seeing some weakness in NVIDIA. Micron's bouncing a little bit here, heading to the upside, but it was the chip name Intel that I was interested in, and no pop to 50. It did try to go, but it was well above 50 before it made the turn in yesterday's trade. Oh, we haven't even talked about silver since the open. Typically, silver has not made its move until, I don't know, like 15, 20 minutes in. Sometimes a little bit later than that, you get the bigger moves in SLV or ZLS, whichever one you happen to be looking at. So inside moves so far, at least with this.
All right, first position for me is Amazon. Very light, very, very light right now. Well, it's going to be $1 in the money, but very light so far on Amazon. It got into the 200 mark, but we it's still so early. So let's just still watch out for this. Man, it just went like 80 cents in the money and we didn't take it. So I'm going to stop out at 199.50 if it breaks below all of this. So just trying a bid right now, very, very light. See if there is this whoosh moment that happens here on Amazon. But here we go, man. We're long at $20.80. Let's take something out. I mean, this is really ripping around. There's $21.50 and change. We'll take out a piece. So far, so good to start the day here on AMZ. Go, go, go on Amazon. That's it. There's your first dollar club right there. We're doing it again, everybody. Nice move up there for AMZN. Let's go and see how high we can fly. There it is, man. It is now $2.50 in the money at the upside. Well, we just touched 203. Let's see if we can get higher. Sorry, $1.53. Now we're $2.53 in the money on your posted trade on the note. So guys, take your profit if you're long and you are nervous, but there goes Amazon right now. So far, so good. We did it again, everybody. What's up, Adara?
I have news on Micron. So here's the news is a strong word, but there was an analyst note that came out around, looks like 9 a.m. more or less. I don't know if that's basically when this drop started. So what happened here is Semi-Analysis, which is basically just a research firm on, you guessed it, semiconductors. They basically said that they, quote, reduce Micron's share of NVIDIA Rubin high bandwidth memory to 0. They do not see indications of NVIDIA ordering Micron's HBM. They do expect that NVIDIA's HBM4 supply is going to be consolidated between SK Hynix and Samsung. So again, and it's worth a lot of people are not really believing this report or taking it seriously as far as I can see from like responses to this online. But either way, Semi-Analysis basically saying that they don't see any indications of NVIDIA ordering Micron high bandwidth memory. We also at 10 a.m. do have the University of Michigan Consumer Sentiment, which includes an inflation print. I will, of course, be delivering that for you guys. You might see me before that if there's any news. Back to you.
Thank you, Adara. You knew there had to be news with that Micron drop. There's no way that stock is going to move the way that it did without some kind of a headline. HIMS did have a positive headline yesterday. It is negative today with the Novo legal battle, I suppose, over the knockoff. I guess, whatever. I guess they don't call it a knockoff, and Eli Lilly calls it a knockoff, and Novo Nordisk calls it a knockoff with their alternative GLP pills. So we just had a false break. It filled in the gap, and then it came right back underneath. I did not get filled down here at the 22.3s, but we're in at the volume-weighted average price, looking for the low of the day if we are able to get it here. And where are you going? NVIDIA is way to the upside. When I went to punch into HIMS, I actually keystroked into the wrong stock, but I punched out pretty instantaneously in Intel. The plan for Intel is to wait for a 50 break and then jump back into the downside. It is at 50, or it got to 50, but there hasn't been the solid turn like we had yesterday. Sort of obvious when it did happen, so we will wait for that. And Bitcoin, which has been easily the most volatile thing that we've been watching, is pushing right into this resistance at 38.8. So we'll be talking about 68,000 or so on IBIT will be the level. Just looking for that trend break, and then we should be good to go.
All right, let's look at other stocks here. Advanced Micro Devices. I mean, right now we're in the money on Amazon, but we're just going to act like we do it all the time. AMD, so 204, 205. That's going to be a level for us. I mean, obviously the market go boom to the upside right there. So I don't know if we're going to be shorting that level. I was really looking, because remember I was like, if we take out that top, it might just be a long, up there for the rest of the day, because there is a dip buy opportunity that's in every market, no matter, bullish or bearish. But there goes AMD starting to kick up a little bit higher. What about NVIDIA right now? We've been topping out there on Amazon, by the way. Like that went, like I said, $3, $4 in the money, and we just right up to VWAP, so it's empty out some of the trade up there at VWAP. I mean, there's no point in holding this thing. Like I said, be patient with the trade. It came in, take some profits where they lie, and let's work off of that. Roblox, we like that 64 area. It broke through, so now we wait. We were never going to sit there and take this, but we did want to look at it. The other name was Reddit as well. Yesterday on strategy, I was like, if we wanted to really play the Bitcoin long, and I actually thought that Bitcoin had a good bounce opportunity. Yesterday, we talked about MSTR at 106 or whatever it was there in the afternoon. Yeah, right into here, right before close. And I was like, if you think Bitcoin's going to bounce, man, this was probably the tool. And there it is, another 14% on your head there. for MSTR, and then we had that Micron move lower, right? I mean, is that what is that all about? So Micron makes that huge move down into not huge, but into 374. Yeah, and bounce back up about to $10 there. So far so good there as we just hold on to hopefully what's going to be a monster winner here with Amazon. But we've already taken 250 on it. Let's see if we can get a little bit more.
Yeah, I'm gonna get a little bit more out of HIMS. It lost VWAP, headed toward the low that it didn't quite get to the low of the day, which is about 21.2. That'll be your support. Pre-market lows, all the same thing. I want the reload right in here in the 21.80 zone. I'm giving it to this support, which was 22. So that's the idea. We're gonna give it to the $22 level, but VWAP is right here at about 21.7. So if I reload, it needs to confirm a fail of VWAP, or I wait for it to get into the 22 spot. HIMS should be able to do its own thing. I don't think it's, I can't see him necessarily caring what the market is going to be doing. Like Reddit is filled in the gap almost entirely here. There was support at 150 going into the print last night, and it is right back into this 150 level and just falling like a rock. There's just no signs of a bid right now for Reddit, so I don't think that's going to be one to rush into. And it's sort of a similar, I would have a similar take on Roblox. Like Roblox is also filling in the gap as the market goes higher and not showing any signs of abating anytime soon. So right now, HIMS doesn't seem to care that the market is going up, which would be a good thing if you happen to be short. And silver's still not really setting much of anything up. It's trending, but it needs to get up to the top and break the trend. That's when I would look long ZLS. Or ZSL, sorry.
Yeah, ZSL, of course. So the only thing that's really hit for me, we're getting close to AMD right here. You guys can go, I'll put this in the chat so you guys can see this. Thank you to Trader there in the chat as well. You know, AMD, Roblox, Amazon. So there's our Roblox. We already looked at that. That's broken through that. AMD's on its way to 205, 206. The TQ's ripped, so that 4780 is not there yet. We just talked about it being a key level. I do like the short if that does break, so maybe we can go back over and have a quick little look at that. But right now, it's Amazon that's really running the show for me right here. We'd like to get out of a little bit more upside, but it just keeps on bouncing off this VWAP trade. So I keep on watching it and being patient. And that time we got 250 period moves up to 203. So yeah, what goes boom in the night? Apparently Amazon goes, and we'll take another offer here at 202.20 if it gives it to us, and there it goes. So yeah, now let's just wait for that bigger move. We're out of just over half of this trade so far, and you know, so far so good. Apple's been, it could always come back in, so you know, let's be patient with it and be humble with that position. There's Apple 1%. I mean, what an absolute monster, man. Apple could not. We were saying this. Man, it's a good thing that, you know, we believe in some of our convictions, because when this was going down, there was no reason for this. And I thought people were selling Apple just ahead of the earnings so that they could actually do this and buy. Like, I remember when they announced, I actually bought some down here at 255 when they announced that Gemini deal. I remember I hopped right in and bought some, and then it didn't really have the reactions that we thought. Went all the way to 285, and we were pretty happy about it. Then it came all the way back in, and now it's ripping back up to the top side. Apple just took a minute. Yes, Amazon. All right, man, we're pretty big on that right now. Now it's $3 in the money here on Amazon, so 3 Benjamins there. We do have an offer at 04, so here we go, Amazon. Here we go. It's your number 1 trade idea off the note, and it's working out so far. So Amazon upside. We take some 204s right there. That's a $3 and change winner. So hopefully we've bottomed, as people are saying in the chat, and it's nothing but upside right here, sponsored hopefully by Amazon. I see you got that nice trade on HIMS there. So far so good. Yeah, you're welcome, YouTube and everybody else that's there right now. Bitcoin 68,000.
68? Yeah, it just pulled back. So it's above 68, but it's pulled back off of the highs. Those even dollar levels on IBIT are entirely useless. And same thing with Bitcoin this morning. HIMS won't seem to break the low just yet. Looking for a break at the low of the day. And because, okay, so it's down 9%, it's very close to going SSR. If it goes 10% to the downside, I'm looking for that as an exit. Because a lot of times if it was 10% down, I'd look for the reverse trade. So I am bidding for a break of that 10% and then a quick out for myself. It doesn't mean I'm going long, but I'm going to kind of respect that SSR level, at least for now. And then as you said, I bid through that Bitcoin through that 68,000. It is starting to reverse the trend. Would like to confirm the break of this trend to the upside before getting in. Those are the 2 things I'm watching right now. Bitcoin and silver for the trend break. This one was kind of heavy on silver, but it is confirming that we are breaking this initial trend on silver to the downside, but it's like I'm looking at ZSL. So you'd see me.
Silver, right?
Yeah, like look for the long here.
Let's see.
Just got to hold. You just need to be able to hold in here. Then we grab the long, look for the play into the high of the day. And so market so far tries to break that top at the 1%, pulling back a little bit here, but that just could provide an opportunity for some of the longs to reload. I want some confirmation that this is the actual trend break. I think when we had it yesterday, sometimes you get a trend break here or something like that. You have like a full 5 minutes to get in. Over here, there was probably good consolidation as well where you can grab it. Down here, you had 5 minutes to get in. You don't have to rush into that type of a trade every single day. That's part of what's made it work.
Yeah, do not rush into anything right now. Yeah, I'll just say, Rob can get you a coffee. Rob's filling in for Randy today. Okay, so I took a little bit out, again, another 10% out as we broke through 202. So I'm now at 203.50, so right into here, if we can get another tick higher. We only now have 40% left, but that 40% left is still good enough. So let's see if it goes. I'm going to try another reload down here at $200.50, sorry, $200.25. We missed our 225, or else we'd have just more shares than what we have right now. So we'll figure that out as we go. AMD would be the trade that so far it looks like I missed, because what price did I write down again? 204, 205 here for AMD. It goes to 204. That's 2 days in a row that we kind of went to that 204 level and stopped. So I was actually waiting for a little bit higher than that, but there it is right there. Back-to-back days, we hit these tops on AMD, and when we hit the top, there was the drop. So let's wait to see if it comes back up into that area for advanced. No, it didn't stop yesterday. Actually, AMD goes out at the lows. So yeah, that would have been just an absolute monster. That would have been $15. And we've been making real good bank there on AMD, by the way, but still waiting for it to come through. All right, Amazon's trying to get back to the upside, man. It's Google time. That is for sure. SoFi, let go. Yeah, there goes SoFi. Hallelujah. Nice move back higher now. I mean, the bank stocks needed this little, well, not the bank stocks, sorry. These beat up fintech names, which SoFi happens to be. Yeah, Amazon. Yes, Amazon happens to be it. So there goes SoFi today. We're probably expecting Robinhood, which hit a low of 68-ish. 68 yesterday on Robinhood. Right now, up 12% there for Amazon, for Hood. As that starts to go, it's an Amazon kind of day. We're $3 in the money over here. This guy's got Hims to my right, so let's just keep on going, man. We've got some good trades on here today.
Intel's absolutely flying. The market is looking super strong at this moment. Apple, you're not going to be,
I have to buy Post Malone tickets.
No, that rang at the exact, I hit the desk and that rang at the same time. It was an interesting coincidence. No, Apple is super strong, and now you're at the top of the zone from not yesterday, the last couple of days. So if we're not going to have a range-bound day, look at how nicely VWAP is going to line up with the prior highs. So a dip into VWAP, I mean, if VWAP's about the only place you can go to here, because I don't want to chase this move. I thought 73s, and we're obviously not going to be able to get 73s. Jumping back over to silver, there's our little confirmation here. So you've now broken the trend, at least a little bit. It's not as big as it was yesterday, because I think the market is moving way more early, and crypto as well, than we're actually seeing in SLV. But we got the confirmation we're looking for, so going to look to jump into ZSL. Remember, this is inverse, so a long here is a short over in silver, and vice versa. Just like the way that this always sets up the mean reversions, because you can kind of get in exactly at the price that you are looking for, which is the big key for me. And Intel, thank goodness.
For Chef Boyardee.
I hit this one short instead of Hims. It was a keystroke error. I want to flip sometimes when you flip stocks, you're too fast. It didn't actually flip from Intel to Hims, and I punched short on Intel. Just get right out, because you don't want to have like a single trade like ruin your day, especially if it's a keystroke. But now all of a sudden Intel is setting up a trend, and it's above that 50 mark. And this is what happened the last time we were above 50. Big, massive trend at the open, and then a monster reversal. And I know it looked super strong yesterday, but it's exactly what it did the day before. So I will take my shot on Intel once we break this trend line.
Yes. I am absolutely, it just takes one trade here, guys. So we just got 405, 204.50 there, $4 plus on that one. Yeah, I do know. Everyone's asking me, telling me, you know, AMD, and it is here at that 205. So yeah, I mean, we can give this a go right now. My only problem is I said no, I'm going to stay away just because of the momentum in the market. But we might look back and be like, what have we done? So we can maybe even try a little piece here. This is a level that we had thought about, but remember, like, our mind can switch. Ooh, thank you, Rob, so much right there. So cheers. People are asking what's going to happen today, and Rob has generously asked us. So, cheers. Thanks, Rob. All right. I don't know. Like, this is a Christmas style right now. What do you got? Hot stuff. Yeah. So,
yeah. This is a very office mug. It's like this is very typical office mug right there. Someone always has something like that.
Right.
We have Friedman. Can you analyze NBIS? Okay, just very quick. Before I do that, we got our fill on ZLS, so I'm in the trend trade, give it to the prior bar low. It was NBI, oh, we didn't leave it up long enough. It was NBIS, right? We want to talk about Nebius. I believe that was a super chat. Correct me if I'm wrong. So that one's gonna be a nice gap up, but, yeah, okay, thank you. It was Nebius, just making sure. But, it's a daily pattern setup. So first thing I will say is on the daily chart, you're holding support. On the daily chart, you're holding the 200 period moving average, but none of that matters if you don't close above. It's that simple. No close above doesn't make a difference. If you close above, I like reversals, but I always, whatever the trend is on the time frame or whatever the level is on the time frame, then the trade is on that time frame too. So I would say on NBIS, it's only cool at the bottom if we hold that 200 period today. And while the market is booming, it doesn't seem to be doing much work right now. It's just kind of, it's gapped up 7%, but it's not doing anything with that so far this morning. It's not really blowing it out. So I would be a hold on this one and wait for that 200 period to confirm on the daily.
Okay, new position, of course, and it's going to be AMD. So here we go, man. Let's see if we can put some money in our pocket here on advanced micro devices. We're in the money now, 40 cents. Let's see if it gets a little bit lower. Here's wow, okay. I mean, thank you, everybody, for bringing that to my attention again on that. Sometimes I do get carried away and don't follow my own plan, as many of you know. But here it goes, man. It's a nice one. It's cruising right now. It's, of course, advanced micro devices, back into the downside. But look what's happening here with, that's AMD. This is Amazon. Amazon just touching that 304. So we got it 204, so we got to be careful here. See, there's the same prices, 204, 205, and I'm opposite ways here. So it's kind of like a little trippy here for me, trying to figure out what exactly is going on right now. But these are the prices that I'm into right now. So let's just continue to watch out for this trade. And there goes AMD, Neil. It's another dollar right there, man. We've taken $6 out of this market so far here today. So let's see what winds up happening now. So good way to follow some of the rules there. And thank you to everybody in the chat. Again, we just took a big trade there on advanced micro devices. And there it goes. Now we're $2. We're $2.50 in the money on Amazon. We're $1.50 in the money on AMD. And there we go, man. It's a big one, and it's happening for you live here at Trader TV Live one more time. So nice move down for AMD. Let's get out some more Amazon because, hey, why not? It's at 203. We'll take another out. It just missed 205 again, but now we're on the AMD short trade, and that's starting to print out as well. So let's just get out of more here. You know, just ease back. It's been a really great morning so far. We'll go 2 for 2, pretty huge trades, and just wait now to see if there is some extension. But like AMD is not going to tank if Amazon rips. So, you know, start to cover a little bit right now and figure this all out. But so far, so good here to start the day. Just 2 for 2 on these 2 simple trades. And they were all trades that we actually talked about, based them out for you, gave you, the indicator. So if you guys are watching, hit the like, hit the subscribe. These are trades. There's the Amazon long 200. There's the AMD short 205 to 206. So we did exactly that, and it's printing out. And so this is what I'm talking about. Have a look, have a game plan, and execute your plan. And as long as it's there, man, it's there. So, and it was there for Amazon and AMD for me. So yeah, so far so good there. I'm still waiting to dip by in the longer term on Amazon, but that is what it is so far.
I'm not doing anything till next week. Last time on Amazon, I waited 3 days and got the same price I would have on day one, and I won't forget that. Each stock has its own different vibe or different beat. I did reload HIMS in front of this prior high, but it immediately started to press through. So I don't want this to get all the way back into this gap. a dollar move on HIMS is 5%, and the short that we had gave us about 2%. So I'm not going to sit there and try to fight this one too much on the reload. I'll let it try to roll over, give me another topping tail to give me another entry. That way it's like, okay, give me 1 for 2, but stay up on the stock. ZSL, I mean, trend break, give it to the prior low. I'm not even offering yet. I should put something at VWAP for initial exit and then just play into the high of the day. But silver is not usually moving as big until a little bit later on in the session. So I'm pretty cool sitting in this one. Maybe this is the day. It's been 6 for 6 taking trend breaks on ZSL, though this is the earliest that I've actually had one of them. So got to recognize that. Intel, now 6% and still trending higher. But it only takes one shot for the trend break, which I'm cool with waiting for the entire time. I think I traded maybe 4 or 5 trades the entirety of the day until the late BM and R1 yesterday. And that worked so much better. I think consistency in January and the beginning of this year was fewer trades in the morning, and certainly like picking your spots and entries a little bit better. You know, one entry spot, if it comes back to that price and it looks good, then take it again. If not, then sit back and relax. And that's led to better consistency, certainly for sure. This week, but also last month as well.
All right, here we go, man. So we did get stopped out there on AMD. So we will, thank you so much, Christmas there, 10-0-0-0-0-0-3. Right there, thank you too much to Cabbage Patch Traders and everybody out there, man. You know, it is what it is. So we'll just continue to watch out. But there's the stop out on AMD. Take the profit, it's there. We put it in our pocket on that move down, and then just got stopped out for flat on that 206 break. So, and then we were able to get out some more Amazon up there at 204. So it's kind of just like moving around just a little bit right now, and fine with that, just waiting for specific trades to hit, right? We'll try to get back into AMD a little bit right here, because I'd hate to be right and just to get stopped out on that last little piece. So we'll try it again. We'll get time, we'll give it up to like 206, whatever it is there, 206.50 or so for the stop here on AMD. What's up, Adara?
Just to let you guys know here, there is a headline going around right now on X, Politico, reporting that a lawmaker seeks Department of Justice communications with Apple and Google. Now, I looked this up so I could give you guys the story beyond the headlines. Basically, what happened here is the House Judiciary Committee ranking member, Jamie Raskin, who is a Democrat from Maryland, he is, I guess, wrote a letter here to the DOJ with regards to Apple and Google blocking the ICE tracking app. So that's the deal here. It's nothing bigger than that, but I just want to mention because this headline is circulating around here for Google and Apple. Again, we have a lawmaker contacting the DOJ with regards to Google and Apple, specifically the ICE tracking apps. Back to you.
Okay. Well, I mean, usually you want to stay out of controversy, but I'll stay away from that. I don't think that headline necessarily is going to move the stock. So I wouldn't worry too much about that. Like, Apple's been an absolute.
I just wanted to mention, because the way it was worded was like lawmaker probes, and I was like, I just wanted to give people the full story in case there's.
Oh, 100%. You always want to make sure you're aware of the news. If you're sitting there and you're in a long on Apple, it's been rocketing, like maybe it gives you a reason to trim some. I don't know. I just think it'll be absolutely fine. Like, Apple, they're good. They've been one of the strongest names out there, no questions asked. So the trend break did happen here on Intel. There's a confirmation on the 3-minute chart. I should always say this. I shouldn't make the assumption, you know, it's a 3-minute chart. So the trend line's different depending on your time frame, obviously. So mine's a 3-minute chart. I think the play's back into the volume weighted average price if we can get it. ZSL, sort of the same thing. Like, it's just sitting here. It hasn't broken the low, but we're not getting that push into VWAP, and I'm going to get another order. I should already be up here in the 80s as well. So if it spikes up, then I just kind of get swept up, because we're just going sideways off of that low for now. For now. We've seen silver do this move before.
All right. We reloaded our AMD short, and you know, let's see if we, okay, there we go. We just got a 36 fill there at 204.36. So now this is now $1.25 now in the money. So we haven't done it once, we've done it twice right there. So okay, we are on that trade. Let's get some out here at 204.10s or 204.15s, and then we'll see, you know, if it does wind up holding that 25-period moving average right there that we've been using as sort of that kind of an indicator, right? To see if we hold levels or not, and then get out or not on those prints. So let's just wait and see if that is the case right now on that, and then we'll just move forward with it. Amazon obviously is still $1 and change, but we've just been getting some out on the upside. I have 20% left right now, but this is kind of getting lower here. Let's get another piece out at 85 if we can. I would like the market to crank. We have 3 times the shares on AMD that we do on Amazon right now, so if the market does fall back in, good for it. But for right now, it's just bouncing now off the 50-period moving average. So, you know, we say it all the time on here, traders got to trade. And if you're in the trade right now, watch out for this move right here in the Nasdaq, right there, right? So this is going to be an interesting level to see if it holds or not. And it looks like right now it is holding. So that'll be good for our Amazon trade and not great for our AMD. But, you know, they can move together in separate directions. So that's why good fill there. Good couple fills at 204.25s, right? I mean, it's right into this level. Let's be patient, see if we do get that flush. There was someone there in the chat that had mentioned be very, very patient with that. So I'm trying to, man. Salvador, you're in this one with me as well. So I'm really glad that some of you guys are looking at that and trying to make some plays as well, right? I mean, the plays that I write down are one thing, but I really hope that some of you are able to, you know, understand why, and then everyone's going to have obviously their own outs and whatnot. So there it is, right? There's a face slapper right now. We're at the highest spot we've been at all day net-wise, so we're pretty happy with that. But still more to come, man. Let's see how low it can go. There goes AMD to the Z down the side. Let's get another piece out of Amazon, and let's watch out for this bleed right now on AMD. Nicely into the money. Now we'll take another fill there. It's now $2 in. So $3 or $4 winner on Amazon, $2 here on AMD. And yeah, the start of this month has been huge, and we're going to see if we can continue it there today.
Yeah, the start of this month has been very nice. We're at VWAP, which is going to mean the out for Intel. We're just talking about patience here. Hold it, hold it. Yeah, there's the buyers. Just got right into the volume weighted average price at 50.20. So we wait for it to go, one trend break, back into the volume weighted average price. That's what we're waiting for. We can always play it again. Yesterday, when it lost VWAP big yesterday, but today seems a little bit stronger. It's a higher low and all that good stuff. So if we lose VWAP, I can try to get back in. I had to chase a bit yesterday, but I don't necessarily think it would repeat itself with that kind of a candle under VWAP. So if it pops back up, I don't think this is an automatic reload for the reason that all of the fails of 50 and this level up here have been pretty instantaneous. So I'm not gonna, if it bounces back to the high, that's too strong. Just take your one shot, right?
Oh, there's Fabian.
Wait for one, you get your one, and you're good to go. I believe we're—
Unity's not working. Double high five.
We do have here in 17 seconds, the University of Michigan Consumer Sentiment forecast, 55. Previous 56.4, so we are expecting a little bit of a decline here. Now for the inflation expectations, we are expecting both of these to be the same here on a month-over-month basis, but 5-year inflation, 3.3% forecast, 1-year, 4% forecast. Okay, so consumer sentiment coming higher than expected and above the previous print here, 57.3. Again, I was seeing forecasts of 55 and the previous print of 56.4. Now, the inflation prints are where this gets kind of interesting. We are seeing lower than expected 1-year inflation. So 1-year inflation here for University of Michigan, 3.5%, well below the forecast of 4%. And then 5-year inflation as well, 3.4% versus 3.3%. So interesting look there for the market. Let's see how the market's reacting. Not too much here. Again, this you think would be a little bit better than expected in terms of the market reaction because we did get a higher than expected confidence and generally lower than expected inflation expectations. So here is this Nasdaq, though, not doing too much with this print. I want to talk about Amazon. AMZN, of course, on watch here right now, kind of choppy on an intraday basis. But this stock, I was seeing worst daily performance as of right now since at least a couple months, as we do get Amazon here missing EPS estimates despite a sales beat. The real issue, though, is their $200 billion Capex guidance for fiscal 2026 versus estimates of just under $150 billion. Other earnings names on watch include Reddit, Affirm, CGC, UAA, Roblox. Like there's tons of earnings names today for sure, depending on what you're looking at. There's small caps, mid caps, large caps. They're all represented. I do want to talk as well about HIMS. Hims and hers on watch. We know yesterday they announced their compounded semaglutide pill. Novo Nordisk immediately saying, don't take this. And then we actually had a comment coming out from U.S. FDA Chief Marty McCary saying that the FDA is going to be taking swift actions against companies which mass market illegal copycat drugs. And they're not the only name that got beat up this morning. We also had STLA down here reporting, or I guess expecting here, they're going to have a net loss for fiscal 20 or the fiscal year. They also said they're going to be announcing a new strategy come May of this year. So I guess keep an eye on Stellantis in May 2026. We're going to send you over to Sean and Neil. Please make sure to like and subscribe if you enjoy the content that we're bringing you.
Thank you very much, Adair. That was a lot to cover, and always great to have it for sure. And I'm going to stick to the rule. This will be the first time in 7 sessions, even if it holds and goes. ZSL, it broke the prior bar, so I know my entry strategy, know my exit strategy. The key thing, hey, you lose less on it than you make the other 5 or 6 times. That's the key. Make sure when you lose on a trade that you're trying to lose less than what you make if the trade works, right? You don't want the reverse, otherwise it's hard to be consistent. Looks like Intel has carried through. It's doing what it did yesterday, carrying through VWAP. So the next available pop will grab it. But as we said, this is exactly what it had been doing. Go into that 50 zone, fail that 50 zone, and now you're getting the dump. I was able to catch it a little bit later on. It's maybe about like maybe 10 minutes after the initial dump through VWAP, so I can be patient with the second leg of the trade here on Intel. But this one pretty much went to plan. We got the push above 50. We got the reversion into the volume-weighted average price. Doesn't always, yesterday we missed this trade, so let's say we're actually able to get it, so pretty happy with that. And there's one more, because we talked about this in the context of that pre-market drop. Micron putting in a lower high at resistance and looking weak once again. Not a good day. That just went red on Micron. I'm going to jump back over to HIMS because this is still setting up for the short. So round 3 on HIMS. Probably VWAP in here if it loses it, as this stock down 8% and still looking pretty bad.
All right, guys, we have the stock visualizer. You guys can have a quick little look at this real quick right now as well. NVIDIA, AMD, Amazon. I mean, these are all the names you guys want us to look at. Intel right there, up 2%, 3%. Crypto up 6% right now. Micron, Robinhood, SoFi, Palantir, Netflix. I mean, all these names, man, all the big cap names to look at. I mean, it's been a great day for SoFi right into here. I mean, that's 5%. We'll take it on a day like today. SMCI, right? A nice little recovery day for them as well, as we wait on SMCI's report from 2 days ago. Comes out well received. Apple, I don't know, it's up a lot. I'm not sure why it's not adding it right there. Amazon's been obviously a monster trade here today, as we've talked about that. P&L 1, whoopsies there for me today, Amazon. But actually AMD, now that I'm, yep, got you, Fabian. Now that I'm in AMD, you know, we'll have to watch out for that one. We did take some good fills there near the lows for AMD. And I think we're pretty good this week trading-wise. I just want to give you guys an idea here. Amazon, although we let it go to the moon, it didn't. So it stopped at 204, right? And that's a 200 period moving average. So we just went like little bumps up there into VWAP. So we were just covering there. So now, you know, we're pretty light on this name, which is all good. I mean, we took 4 and change on AMD down there to VWAP. And now I'm seeing that this is looking like it might want to bounce. So let's put a bid there. Okay, here it goes. In the 70s, we did clear some more out, obviously, of advanced micro devices. We're having quite a day, and it's been pretty good. So 2 for 2, both pretty good. We did get stopped out of our AMD right there, but we had written down 205 to 206. So I said that we would try to give ourselves a little bit more of an opportunity here on said stock. So that's what we're doing right now for AMD, trying to give it a little bit of room now and see if we do have a downside push even greater than what we've already had. So we only have about 25% of that left and under 10% right now. We just got another fill there on AMD as well. So, you know, getting lesser and lesser and lesser on these trades. Tesla, obviously the bounce name there today as well. That goes into 400 and then rips back up to the upside. So, hey man, the trading's here. We're doing pretty good. We're just going to have to wait to see what this next couple moves are. Roblox at 64 was another level that I wrote down RBLX, so we can have a quick look there. Didn't hold. We talked about that. Right now, yeah, so the problem with Unity before was that we couldn't hear Brendan when he was up there, even with that selection. So now I should be able to hear Dara, I guess, now. 64 right there. That was a good level, but it was a short, not a long. So let's see if Roblox can come back up into VWAP and then potentially look at the short over there.
Roblox is where?
61. And then here we go, man. AMD still, though, this is going to be a banger, man. We're still 450 in the money on these trades. I see you exited yours, so good trading over there. Let's wait to see what winds up happening now.
Oh, that threw me because you said happening now. I thought we were going to Adara.
No.
No. Happening now is we're losing the volume weighted average price. So I want to jump back into him. It's going to be annoying. Sometimes you set yourself a rule, it breaks that prior bar, and then doesn't get into this wick to give us an entry point, is what it is. But I want to jump into this one more time if we can. Intel's still falling, but now IBIT has finally gotten the target. You can only trade, the way I see it, when you're taking this kind of a style of trade, you're only getting one at a time. So if something else is breaking trend, like an Intel or a ZSL, that can also be on IBIT in the same moment. But this broke the uptrend and is now going sideways. So 38.8, which is the level we liked, is holding. So I'm going to jump in, hopefully in the 70s, give it to that lower high, and then play this to VWAP. But you are trending up, and you are having a pretty big day for Bitcoin. So I don't want to give this too much room, especially given the fact I should have already have been scalping this, but was on other names. Let's go to my left and see what Sean is interested in.
Okay, I'm interested in PDSB biotechnology under the symbol Nasdaq. PDSB, it's transforming how the immune system targets and fights cancer with its initial focus on HPV-16 head and neck cancer. HPV-16 can cause head and neck cancer, and more people are facing these high-risk cancers than ever before. HPV-16 positive head and neck cancers are projected to become the most common type of head and neck cancer in the United States in just a few years. If interested, and please go check them out at pdsbiotech.com. I want to thank PDSB Biotech for their continued support of Trader TV Live. Not really looking to do too much. We already talked about some of those names. Again, I can, of course, look at Intel. Intel was part of a great trade that we had earlier, either this week or last week. I sold at 53.50 some of those, some of my position there, and have repurposed the money. But what a move there today. 51.20, man. All the way upside there for Intel, and then a complete sort of reverse V-shape recovery. If it's like kind of like a bad, written N right there. As we come back, you just put a little line there and you got an A. But nice move right back in now into the 200 period moving average. Potentially Intel getting interested for a bid now at these levels because you've fallen back in a lot into those levels. This could be a good buy area against 49. So that's a great little tick there if you're able to get anything here. I think it might be worth a shot to potentially go long even right now against $49. So something to think about. AMD has bounced back, man. This was $4. It's bouncing back. Watch out for 204 break. I'm going to put my stop in now. Remember, this stop to get us $4, the stop was 50 cents. So that's another 8 to 1. So I know we always like to talk about this isn't certain people's styles and whatnot. We all have different styles. Mine is low risk, high reward. And right into there, we tried it again, and sometimes it doesn't work, man. You take too many risks and they don't pay off, you can have a bad run right there. Congratulations to Matt Stafford and his really cute daughters, man. That was an awesome thing there to watch last night, him win those awards. Okay, so here we go. Right now, 204.17. He won by 1 vote over Drake May, which is quite unbelievable. And 1 person voted for Justin Herbert for MVP. So this goes to show you that this voting is really
that was utter nonsense.
Stupid.
Justin Herbert. Anyway, it doesn't even.
No, but even it just comes down to 1 vote. It's like all the votes should be cast. In the same vein, and you should be able to. I think these guys attach their names to it.
No reasonable person can tell me that Justin Herbert did.
No, of course not. It's just like no reasonable person can say that Bill Belichick
doesn't do
it. Yeah, exactly. Right?
I think what happens is when you get a little bit of power, it's like you start doing. It just gets personal. You do Homer type stuff, and you feel like you just want to make a point. Instead of doing what your job is, and that the ego is going to be a part of that as well. I bet you there's some Spygate stuff that went on with that for sure. Just very quickly, Adam James Abroad, we'll get to the super chat right now, hit huge on getting in at the bottom of SanDisk. with retail and out before rug pull. Done for the day, 7 a.m. West Coast.
Yeah.
Wait, you sold the West Coast. You're Adam James abroad.
West Coast,
best
West
ever
Coast.
week of trading. Have a great day. God bless. Congratulations and fantastic.
Good job.
Nothing wrong with that whatsoever. But make sure, like, some traders love the morning, some traders love the afternoon, some traders love the close, some traders love the middle of the day. Whichever one works best for you, just make sure you do that. Because if there was the biggest fail yesterday, is we like IPO opens when they're big ones. And yesterday there was a 1.5 billion IPO, which is over $1 billion, which fits the strategy. Didn't take it, as clean as can be. It was absolutely, you couldn't have lost money doing what we normally do, and we just didn't take it, and it comes down to that. Just do what is a positive expectancy, and then you don't worry about the one time out of 7 or 8 or 9 or 10 that it loses. So long as it works for you, do it every single time. That's the idea. So in that vein, even though, you come back, here we go, back to my chart. Even if a little bit late, and yes, I was late on this trade, I should be in when it breaks the trend here, and I should already be out. So I'm still gonna take it. I just tighten the stop up a little bit instead of giving it to the prior bar high. I'll give it to the local high that it made. So in that case, like, you're just risking a little bit less because it's not as good as if you have it here and have already scalped out a bit. I am back into HIMS, however. HIMS effectively, all right, so kind of just like look at these wicks. That's the best way to visualize it. There's the open, there's the lower high. Here's another lower high, it's at VWAP. So you now have a trend line. Instead of taking the break of the trend, I'm shorting into the downward trend line because I prefer the short. So if I'm short biased, I'll short the trend line instead of going the long reverse. If I like the long on HIMS, I just wait for it to break this and go long.
All right, new position. We're just gonna try Roblox here, pretty small rate. I mean, I'm not trading this with big shares whatsoever because, okay, well, here comes the break anyways. If we broke below, I was gonna give it to like 60, there we go, we're out. 60, 75 break there, we'll lose 25 cents there on Roblox. But I actually wanna get, that might have been near the lows. I mean, Amazon's trying to pump back to the upside. Obviously, there goes AMD downside. We're not gonna, ruin anything here. Let's just try one more time. We just tried to bid it there, and it just went back up to the upside on the bid that I put in. Too bad. All right, whatever. Basically, we lost 5% of what we made on everything else right there. We'll try Roblox one more time. All right, so AMD and both these names starting to cook again here. AMD and, of course, Amazon, but we have less of all of these shares right now. So here goes Amazon, right back up to another key level. And I think even though it's only 10.13, there's 300. So let's take another piece out right there at 3 bills, and then we'll 203, and then we'll wait to see if it gets going even a little bit more. I'm sitting here at 2. Money, 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 money. There it goes. I was just saying we're sitting up here at 204. Here we go again, man. We are bullish there again. Thank you. Sharif. Yes, sir. Appreciate that, my guy. All right, nice move there. A lot of love from the man on my left. Thank you, Mr. Sharif. Okay, so yeah, join these guys on the Midday show, by the way. It's going to be another monster show there as we look to trade some small cap names on that Midday show. It's fun to have Luis there, of course, the other day as well. Let's take out some more here on AMD and at 203 there. So we're sitting in $7 in the money right now on these two positions. So, so far so good there. And again, a little bit of a windfall this week. I mean, you guys there on the, there it is. You closed your position on IBIT yesterday before the market closed, took a 30K profit.
And those are, 22 and counting.
That's years of trading profit, man. So good job there. 30K, another 22K. That's 52K right there.
Eddie the dealer.
Congratulations, Eddie the dealer. He and I becoming friends on the gram. So shout out to you, Eddie the dealer. And hey, Eddie, what did we talk about last night? I mean, the very last message that we had mentioned there, I was saying, nothing wrong with taking a little bit of a shot there last night. And it looks like you have done that with IBIT the day before as well. So congratulations, Eddie. You're a good one there. So yeah, not too bad so far here today.
We also had Eddie give 5 memberships to everybody.
Boom.
So not just the super chat, but Eddie the dealer with 5 Trader TV Live gift memberships in the house. And if you're wondering what those might be and what you might get from it, then you're gonna get Sharif's note every single day that he is here. Today, obviously, it's going to be littered because we had earnings. How long is it? Oh, I don't want to zoom in that far. It's probably at least a dozen pages long, almost is every single day. And you're going to be able to see whether it's chip names, whether it's going to be the AI boom. I think we have up here crypto, Bitcoin again, Stellantis got absolutely woodshedded. It's only $5 a month, which works out to like a quarter per trading day. Like you're literally talking a quarter for every single trading day to be able to grab that bad boy. And thank you, Eddie, for gifting that. I think it's a fantastic resource. You never want to trade blind. Finding that news and narrowing down the names that you're going to be interested in is so key. When we talk about finding consistency, sometimes it's just about knowing which names are of interest to you and why, and starting from there. Because it's hard to track like 100 different symbols or 200 different symbols. And ultimately, so the more you can refine your trades, I think the better off you are going to be. So shout out to you, Eddie. Really, really appreciate you there. Speaking of refining your trades, I just noticed hit enter twice. See, that's what I was talking about before. Hit enter once and nothing happens. Hit enter twice and we get back to Intel. So Intel's starting to press back up. Yesterday we missed this break and we took the first available bounce. It kind of double tapped a lower high and then gave us the entry. So kind of doing the same thing here on the way back in. Going to give it to this prior bar, which is at about the 90 level, looking for the secondary push over on Intel. So sticking with the name that I like, and even more memberships. Eddie's going crazy now. 20, 10, 20, 10, 10. So forget about 5 memberships. Eddie is now just given 70 more. So that, I believe, if I'm counting correctly, that is 75 memberships handed out. So shout out to you. Appreciate it, Eddie. That's fantastic and very kind of you to do so. They're very generous. And remember, you jump into the chat. It's a subs-only chat, so every subscriber can be in the chat, and then you can enable gifts. And that's how you're able to get that benefit. Just enable gifts when you're in the chat, and then you are good to go. And only people active in the chat are going to be able to get that gift in there. So I want to thank Eddie again. And you've been generous for quite some time as well. It's not just this morning, everybody. And we have a fantastic community for sure. And I want to thank everybody in it. Again, the show is about you guys. For sure, we're just trying to keep you guys informed, show you guys some ideas, and then what we're doing every single day. Trading is a lonely and difficult business. Anyone that makes it seem like it's easy is not telling you the truth. I promise you that much, and that's why we're trying to be here for you guys every day. Eddie again, Eddie. When I win, we all win, because Trade TV Live helped me a lot, so thank you. We'll hit the like on that one. We'll power it up for you as well. A little bit of Mario action over there. $100 super chat. Eddie, you're an absolute monster. Can't really thank you enough. That is incredibly kind. And, I think it's humbling, right? And at the end of the day, your hard work is paid off. And I know, and I can tell, that's the thing about it, right? In your success, the first thing you're thinking about is giving back and other people. And that's what I love to see. Make it about the community, brother. Truly appreciate that for sure. About 75 memberships just now from Eddie.
Yeah, I mean, this guy, I told you, this guy's the real deal over there. Shout out to Eddie, the dealer. Thank you so much for all of that, man. It does obviously mean a lot. All right, so yeah, okay. I don't know, did he mention anything about the Bitcoin last night? I had to go there and get some more water. Yeah, thank you so much, Eddie, for all the nice talk there, man. Many options there. Make sure you go in and hit the like and subscribe, and a big thumbs up for you, Eddie. Thank you so much. You can obviously message me anytime, that's for sure. All right, let's go back over to Adara. It's some kind of a update.
That's exactly right, Sean. And the kind of update it is small cap related. We'll start here with CCHH. This is CCH Holdings. Couldn't see any news on this. Roughly $13 million market cap. So CCHH is the first one here. This next one, I know you guys have seen on here before because it has moved, especially lately. It's Sean Ruxang Holdings. That's TIRX. Press release here this morning about their digital financial revolution with 15,000 Bitcoin powerhouse alliance surging towards historic government-backed stablecoin issuance. So their stablecoin digital finance related play, that's again TIRX. Last but not least, no news that I could find here in FLYE. That's FlyE Group. A little bit of action today with Fly-E. I want to mention as well here, roughly 9 million share float, about $9 million market cap float here for about 1.5 million shares. Pretty small float there for FLYE. Now we're going to fly over to Sean and Neil, but do make sure to like and subscribe always. Back to you.
Thank you, Adara. About that, look at Roblox right here. So we get stopped out of Roblox for 25 cents, and then it goes $3. So there we go, man. Couldn't be happier, obviously, with the move there. And I hope that some of you did not get stopped out with me. We picked the right level. We just got stopped out. We should have obviously used that bottom wick right there. But there it goes, man. Good call there on Roblox. Thanks to everybody in the chat for that look there on RBLX. Like we said, man, it is all about community, right? I mean, like I said, I look over here, we're getting, everyone's happy for each other, right? And that's why I say big shout out, to Sharif, Joe, Neil, all these guys, Adara. I was bigging up Adara the other day on live, and she didn't even realize how well she was doing, and I wanted to bring it out to let everybody know. So, yeah, man, we are really enjoying ourselves. The show just keeps on, reaching new heights every single day. The show keeps getting better and better. We want to thank everybody for joining us, obviously, every single day. So this has gone back upside there. So I'm going to get stopped out on a 207 break. I always want to give this a little bit more room. I mean, we made $4. We reloaded it. We're not trading too big here. I just got some more out there at 206 for flat. Let's see if it gives it to it, but then we're just going to use our 207 there, 01. If it breaks it, it breaks it, and we're going to go out of, which will be a losing trade on the reload of this, but it will not put us negative or anything like that on AMD. So that's going to be an interesting one to look forward to there. And then, of course, the trade of the day for me, Amazon. We wrote this down early at 200. Generally, I don't take something someone's mic, I think, is still on. I'm hearing a little bit of recoil here. $200.50 or so right there. Nice move back to the upside on Amazon. So that was $200.50. Now $204.50, $4 in on Amazon right now. And here comes Santa Claus to the downside, goes AMD right now. So we'll take another bid at 205. Neil, it's another $1 right there on AMD. So we're sitting again in some decent winners right here. What a day.
Yeah, what a day. Absolutely, no questions asked. We just got into VWAP on it. Basically the exact same moment. Intel got into the volume weighted average price and now starting to come right back into it. Bitcoin looks like a breakout, by the way, at 39. But I'm actually thinking the other way. We took the L on the trend on Bitcoin, but look at this 39 level. Hold, hold, hold. If we false break, so what that means is you break the high and then come right back in, I'll look for a wick top entry. Look at the resistance here on IBIT. It's right at about 68,000 half, like 68 half or something along those lines. So I'm gonna want that short. To show me a false break, I just need an entry parameter to jump into it. I think that's what it's all about here. And Trader TV Live, how is your day looking? Green or winning, red and struggling, flat, cash gang, mixed, scalping both ways. I'd say mixed scalping both ways because I have many wins as losses. I think you have to look at it, like, put it into perspective. Like, every other day this month has been better than this morning for me and to a certain extent. But you got to put it in a bit of perspective. Like, just because you're green doesn't necessarily mean it's that big of a day. But one of the other things I liked here, just flat cash gang means that you haven't traded today, which is fine. Maybe it's not your thing. You don't like the Fridays, you don't like the options expirations, all that kind of stuff. So that could be you as well.
There we go, Neil. Another shout out right there. But thanks to you over there, my friend. Thank you for you taking it. Hey, I'm glad to make days, as Neil had mentioned there. No matter what, man. Mixed day is a fine day. We're green and winning, obviously, here today. And could have been green and winning a lot more today here. But every day's pretty much been an average day for me. I think we had one, I don't know if it was Monday or Tuesday was the big one. But so far, so good, obviously. And there's Roblox. And you are welcome to that one, Roots and Real there again as well. But yeah, this is, for me, it's all about this gentleman right here. Shout out to, Eddie the dealer. $100, man, right there. So thank you so much. When we win, we all win. And that's what we're talking about, right? Like, I'm just as happy when Neil can put up some wins as I can put up some wins as Sharif, and you definitely feel the love. There's Eddie. Thank you. 20. We have 10 memberships from Ammo Jar. Thank you so much, man, for that. We will not ever, discount any of these memberships. Eddie, again, another 20, as Neil mentioned, another 10, another 10. So, thank you so much to everybody for their continued support, man. And good day. Goodbye the dip day. It seems like right now. We're still 425 in the money here on Amazon, and that's near the highs of the day. We're trying to get a little bit more out on this one as well. Olympics going to start this weekend. That should be a lot of fun. We've got a lot of hockey on deck this weekend for myself personally, with the family, some snowboarding. It's going to be fun to watch some snowboarding online as well. Okay, here comes AMD upside into 206.20s. Sorry, that's Amazon. Here's AMD, 206 and change. So again, a couple good covers down there at 205. Looks like it's going to break through 207. So we'll take an L on the last piece there of AMD, it looks like. But so far, back to flat there. It's been a pretty good day, and it's 10:26, about a half hour until we get over to the midday show. So yeah, man, not gonna lie, good week there, says my back hurts. Yeah, hopefully it doesn't hurt from lifting too many of these text shares on your back. My guy here, Palantir, needs to get some heavy lifting done to it, man. It should be up more than 3%. So we'll wait to see. We called this move yesterday. We're like, oh man, if Palantir ever breaks that shelf, what's gonna happen? And then yesterday, Palantir did, or maybe it was the day before, right into here, broke that in the pre-market, and it was roughly the same prices, right? 134, 135, 134.50, whoosh, all the way to the downside. So right here, right now, we're trying to do something very similar on Palantir, thinking about that 132.50 breakdown. So, okay, there goes AMD, man. All we should have done was reloaded there on AMD, but we did not, but we don't need to because we still got some in the clip, and there goes AMD right back down to the downside. So all we've written down is 206 short. We try to take that. I'm going to take another bid right there in the 30s, and we'll let this thing fall down. We're at the high mark for myself today, so we're pretty happy overall with the results that we've been seeing. Just keep it coming, man. It's 10:30. Let us know any names, and we can look at that visualizer, and we'll definitely go over
Silver
them.
is the one that I see that that we haven't talked about. I was in it once, but that was like 30 minutes ago.
Yeah.
And by the way, Intel just broke through VWAP, so the reload's going to be no good.
Oh, no.
I'm not taking this back at 51. Just the plan of action was a fail of the 50 level, which happened early up here, and then continuation with a lower high. If it gets back up to the top, that's too bullish and very different from what it did here, very different from what it did there. So like if it works here and it works there, because it's lower highs the entire way through, today is distinctly different. I'll zoom in so you can see better. Distinctly different. The lower high is not holding. So it's not the same as it was the other days. And this is the key thing for trading. Like when you're looking, I would say apples to apples, it's like how you do here and how you do here is what you can risk there. So you don't want to turn, like red or green almost doesn't matter relative to the other stocks. It's how did you do on the similar move, like the thing that you're patterning it off of. So like you don't want to lose more on a trade here than you would when you're doing the same thing or successful. I guess that would have been like Tuesday on Intel. So pattern's still okay, but I'm not trying to lose earlier in the week on INTC, fighting what is not the plan of action. What is the plan of action usually on SLV is to find a distinct trend break on the 15-minute, which is starting to go again, but I'm not going to draw it there. I'm going to go to SL. Shoot, damn it. Well, one of these days, I've been saying it wrong all day long. One of these days I'll get it right.
All week long.
Well, actually,
I think you had it yesterday.
Yesterday I was getting it right. I think in the afternoon. Well, I think after like 11 o'clock I was getting it much better, and then in the afternoon show I was pretty good. But yeah, if I say ZLS, I mean ZSL. But it's now got another trend that's putting in. Now, obviously, the first time it broke the low, and we're still trending down. But where I'm going to look for it differently here is I want it to break the trend on the 15-minute. It's now an hour into the day, so I want the higher time frame trend break, which is an even more patient play. Because suddenly you've got to wait for it, not just to break the trend line, but the confirmation comes literally on a 15-minute candle after that. So your entry it could take you like 5-10 minutes to decide you're getting into it, but it is going to be a break of this trend line in ZSL, and just look for that one chance and one opportunity to get the reversion. This one didn't happen until about 1:45 in here, and even then, like you're breaking it on this candle at 2 o'clock. But it was worth it if you took it. I had I had the one in the open yesterday, and it was much, much quicker. Today, it's requiring a little bit more patience to catch that move. But silver, 40% of the time this year has had a 5% intraday move. And usually it's done it more than once. That's worth waiting for until it stops being this volatile.
$6 in the money right now with these two trades. So, you know, obviously the day goes pretty well. Congratulations, everybody, on the green train today, because look at this chart right now. You know, there's been many days where we've looked at this thing and been like, what has gone on? And today we don't have to worry too much about that. As you can see right now, the only name, wow, Google getting hit today down 2.5, Meta down. So it's the big spendas right here. Amazon down 8. I mean, Amazon's been, we're $5 now in on that one, so that's okay. $5 on there, Sharif, and $1.50 on AMD, but it doesn't matter. Meta, Google right there down today. Microsoft up. So it's been a little bit of a different day today with Oracle also getting to the upside right now, up 3% there. IBM up 1.25, Palantir up. So some of these names that have been really beat up, obviously, over the last little while have gone up. I'm a little bit disappointed. We have Fortinet last night. They're only up 2.65%. Oracle, Palo Alto down today, which is kind of sucky right there. NVIDIA, like, look at this move for NVDA, man. We haven't even looked at this today. All I'm doing is shorting, and AMD is huge. So, like, we've made great amount there on AMD, so that's fine. But NVIDIA has been the one, like, we're just going short on AMD. NVIDIA's up 6%. We'll have a look over there. Broadcom up 4.5. Good call on that one. Anybody that's into Broadcom. That reminds me of Marvell. I wanted to see where they were, but we'll have to find them in a second. That's about it on this side. That's really standing out. Dell up 4%. Boeing, we talked about that. That's one of Adara's picks. Great pick on that one. There's Tesla today, up 3 and a bit. Ford downside. GM downside. Rivian not in the S&P 500. We can look over there. And then the energy names, boom, 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 boom. What a day there for energy. Floss it off, energy traders. You guys are in it today with a good little run there on energy, Valero, Occidental, so on and so forth as we continue to go. So, yeah, man, it's been a pretty good day despite Amazon's weakness and the weakness in these mega. These are like 3 of the top 5 names, not Amazon, but market cap-wise. So they're starting to lean on the Nasdaq just a little bit. But despite that, the Nasdaq's still up huge. And it's on the back of Apple, right? I mean, Apple's been an absolute monster again today, up 1.3%. And then, hey, man, you're putting 6% on a $4 trillion name. Wow, the market has a lot of money left to work, right? And they're working it out right now with NVIDIA, up 6.3%. Did you guys buy the dip? Maybe it wasn't the dip that we're all waiting for. There could be more, but for now, up 6 on NVIDIA. I think most of us would take that.
Well, that's the thing. It's even if you didn't buy the dip, you're certainly feeling better about your account than you did the day before, right?
Marvell up 6%.
That's, you gotta like it. I bought one thing in the last few days, and it had nothing to do with the dip yesterday. It was the flash crash on IBM into the 200-period moving average. So it's like if you bought anything the last couple of days, you're probably looking, I'd say, relatively good, but it is what it is. Always could have bought more. I thought the bottom tail was gonna happen at 60,000 on Bitcoin over the weekend, and that's what I was really interested in, like a Saturday or a Sunday. You know, I sold some ETH a while back in my Coinbase account. And I was looking forward to logging in, maybe catching a flash crash. Instead, you're getting that bounce here today. What hasn't happened yet is the curl. So I tried it once. And now it's just a matter of waiting for, it's past 10:30, so everything becomes a more patient setup the later you get in the session. And much like silver, I'll just watch this uptrend. You're into the resistance. You could go as high as 40, and I would still think this trend break is going to be entirely valid. And you always trade patterns in the general sense, but then you also have to figure out like what patterns work the best when. And I find that in the middle of the day, I don't want anything. It's either VWAP or the 15-minute chart for some kind of an entry point. Everything else ends up just being noise, at least for myself. And ooh, we haven't talked about this earnings name at all. Thank you in the chat for mentioning, or Alpha, IREN. So if you were even adjacent to crypto, you were getting absolutely smacked down yesterday. IREN fit the bill, but then unfortunately after earnings got dumped. Well, looky. Wipe out bottom, And then at the open, even more volume than you saw at any point yesterday at the open and a red candle. That's a wipeout low and a potential breakout. I never think these patterns are complete till you're breaking out the higher level at 44, but volume is a very good indicator of a turnaround story. And throw on top of it, hey, look, that's the 200 period that we're always talking about. Where does it go? Right to the 200 period for support. So that looks like a very good and obviously good setup there off that 200 period moving average. If you hold it and you like the stock, I always say there are worse places to buy. If I'm ever blindly buying something on a dip, it's usually the 200 period moving average if I think it's a good company. Hence why IBM. Really, there was nothing else 2 days ago that was setting up.
Thank you so much for this super chat, or these 5 memberships again. So Aziz, thank you so much for that. It does, obviously we keep talking about it, but it does mean a lot for you and for us for those memberships, regardless obviously of the amount. So thank you to Aziz for that 5. I mean, that's huge, man. Thank you. It's $5 each. You guys can go grab them, obviously, as Eddie's spit out a bunch here today as well. And then the super chat, thank you so much, man. When we win, we all win. That's what we're trying to do here every single day on Trader TV Live. Just get those good feels, and the rest is easy. So yeah, like trading's a very, very tough job, needless to say. But investing, we talked about yesterday, if you like Bitcoin, and you know, again, shout out to my guy over here to the left, Sharif, right there. That's Brendan, but get it, Brendan, always. But yeah, Sharif, good little pick up there yesterday. Midday, he was mentioning with IBIT, so that's going to be a good one, up to 68 now as that continues to go. You know, MSTR, we talked about it near the close yesterday. If you like the stock and you like Bitcoin, this might have been an opportunity where you could get, you know, outsized profits on that, right? Because MSTR, again, holding, you know, 750, 800,000 Bitcoin, definitely part of the move higher right there. So congratulations to anybody that was able to pick up MSTR. Forget about IBIT's great, but MSTR right there definitely gives you that, yeah. Right. Hit it, Fabian. Or Andre, whoever's over there. What's up? That's your boy Joe. Yeah, Joe's got that. What's up, my boy over there, Joe? Yeah, we like some Stone Cold Steve Austin action coming through. Let's take another fill right there. I don't know if this is going to come crashing in or not, but AMD, actually, you know what? We've pretty much now made the same amount of money on both AMD and Amazon today, and we could have actually, oh my. Wow, did we ever have this one pegged on Roblox, man? And we already got that super chat. Somebody was mentioning, thank you for making the day on Roblox. You are welcome. And there it goes, man, straight to the upside. Great look there. And I'm just going to be like, the confidence that, you know, right now I have is pretty high, which is always dangerous. But that was a great look there. And we stopped out early, but like you guys know, using bigger shares, trying to take smaller losses with bigger risk. We were definitely right about the risk to reward there. We just tapped out a little bit too early. So, you know, maybe on earnings day on a name that we don't trade too often, we can lower our shares and give it just a little bit more room. Maybe looking at things like average true range, things like that, you know, we could definitely get our hands on to give us that little bit more of an advantage. But there is such a thing called as information overload. You know, the ones that you see use a lot of these technical indicators and stuff like that. Most of them are just trying to sell something. You got to actually make sure that you can put on the real trades, and that's why we sit in here and we show you every single day the trades that we have on. And sometimes it's, you know, instincts will get you into a trade. Sometimes technicals will. But at the end of the day, you always got to have a plan. And yeah, this week, and like I said, with the confidence high, the plan seems to be working out a little bit better. But even if you go through a negative point where you're trading, you know, just back test, look what's going on, potentially lower your share sizes. But, you know, that's why it's important to review your trades every once in a while and get going off of that. So Roblox, great trade off the bottom if you guys were able to hold that. But there she goes. Amazon now $5 in the money at the high of the day. And this is what we talk about with Process, man. We talk about it every day. We all put out notes. You can go check Neil's at Trader TV Neil, at Trader TV Sean as well. My plan of the day is right here, man. It's AMD short 206. It's at 204.50. So that's good. We had the TQs, did not fill yet. A little bit of a money storm. There's our Roblox long. And then there's the big trade for me today that hit early. It's the Amazon $200 long. That was really the key right there. It's funny we wind up making just as much money on AMD as we did on Amazon. Amazon's now 5 in the money here and going through the pre-market high. So yeah, so far so good. Off to Adara. It's 10:40 already.
We're just mic issue with Adara there. We'll get back to her. She's muted.
Okay, I think I'm good to go now.
Once she's good to go, we'll jump right back over. Are we good? Okay.
Sorry about that, guys. Let's get back into the sector watch. Lots of strength in electronic tech, finance to the upside, health tech to the upside, producer manufacturing, energy minerals, industrial services, non-energy minerals. We've got consumer durables and consumer services. So it's hard to find weakness, but there are certain areas where you do have some downside. Commercial services, a little bit red here. Communications, red across the board when they were relatively strong earlier this week when we had some selling. Retail trade's an interesting one, other than Amazon, which of course, to the downside, generally being interpreted as because of their Capex. So all these other retail names in this sector are doing incredibly well. Walmart, notably, up about 1.5%. And let's go over to tech services, where you're seeing another kind of mixed look here. Meta and Google both to the downside, though Microsoft relatively flat. And then you have strength in a lot of these names that have gotten beaten up as of late. Oracle at 141, so definitely below where it started the week, but up about 3% on the day. App 11 up about 5%. This is a name that's gotten hit pretty hard throughout the week as well. Palantir up 3%. This name's kind of been struggling since earnings. So lots of strength across the board here in tech services, other than the Mag 7 names within the sector. Make sure to like and subscribe, and back to you.
Thank you, Adara. We were just talking about plans. There was actually one stock on the plan that I did not trade today, and it was BMNR. And it was 19 over on the 15-minute is a breakout. Yeah, and it looks like it did actually go. There's the 15-minute. For a break, when I say breakout on the 15, it needs to confirm. So there's a break. There's your confirm that it holds, and now it's continuing its upside trend. So the other way to look at it is, okay, fine, that was part of the plan. You did not take the 19 back in here, but here's the trend line. So if I like the trend of the upside over 19, then I buy the dips into the trend line is the way to go. And a big shout out to Real Trading. Why? Because I will hit save. You guys don't see me do that, but I just hit save on the platform. And now my trend line is on all of my time frames on the intraday. So I can look for the next dip, not have to worry about some kind of random price. I'm just looking for a test of this trend as we press away, probably at least until we get to this high, right? Like yesterday's top at 20, that's not a double top because that's a dark pool dump. So $20 top here in BMNR. Next available dip, we'll look for the breakdown. But it's not really a breakdown. It'll just be a dip buy in a BMNR. And it's just about finding that pattern for sure. And we just got another, oh, here we go. We got another poll up here. Silver squeeze dead. No SLV to 80. Yes, retail pump done. Trading the chop. I will just go with trading the chop because realistically all week long it's just been trading the chop. Like, let it make a move, let it make a trend. Don't even worry about what direction. Just sort of play the technicals if you can. And then 20% never believed in it. Well, you know, you don't have to believe in it for it to be real. It was really squeezing. Now, the real question becomes, does it have anything left?
All right, 205 out if Amazon breaks back below 205, right? We've rid this 200 period moving, or sorry, 25 period moving average all the way up to 205. So, I mean, we are really mooning now in this space for Amazon. So, you know, I want to check on Target. Target was, I was thinking about actually getting out, man. We're long in Target like in the 80s, mid 80s or so. So this has been a really good move over the last couple months there. Up another 3.5% today, starting to go higher. We don't have any outs yet. Well, we did take an out rate into here on Target, but not a major one, like maybe 15%, because that was a level, and we actually did pretty good the first time. And, you know, I sit here and I just try to tell you like what I'm doing all the time. And it's not necessarily right. I mean, but right into here, I think this is close. I was going to actually wait for this 122 to 125, so maybe we'll hold off on it, but Target up another 3% there today, and so that's actually working out quite well on a rebuild story there for Target. Walmart already hit that $1 trillion mark there as well earlier on this week, and now it's up 1.5% and still going higher and higher and higher on that one. Looks like we're about to get stopped out, which is completely fine. Well, not stopped out. We have less than 10% left again of this AMD trade. I mean, we just keep on respecting our levels, right? And like I said, when we get that all figured out, it becomes easier. So right there and there into the 50-period moving average, we'll figure out if that is coming in again on that one. How in the world does 41-year-old Lindsey Vonn rupture her ACL last week and is competing today? Amazing. Shout out to Lindsey Vonn right there, man. And absolute props up to all those athletes out there in the Olympic village and everything like that. It's going to be huge. Very, very excited for that as well. So just goes to show you, man, these athletes are for real. 41 years old, right? I mean,
that's what's so insane. She's been around. She's been doing it for how many Olympics?
Probably 25 years.
Five.
Marie-Philippe Poulin. This is her 5th year in the Olympics for Canadian hockey. So yeah, it's absolutely insane. Yeah, man, she started at 18. Yeah, I know, because the way it moved up, I saw yesterday it was her 5th, so absolutely unbelievable there. So it's just crazy times.
Well, it's not like it's a sport that you don't need some strength in the knee. Let's be real for a second. There's probably a lot of things you could do with an ACL. The first on the list of how are you doing this would be skiing. Like I watched somebody ski, and my first thought is my knees hurt just watching it.
Yeah, for sure. It's
like
bad.
that's what's crazy, but that's why they're Olympic athletes.
Yes,
for sure. And we're getting an Olympic-sized breakout on Bitcoin today. Well, maybe not. I mean, if you compare it to yesterday, I guess it's not that impressive compared to yesterday. But BM&R, there still hasn't been a dip as we get into this high. But the other thing that I didn't mention is if we do get to this top at 19, I probably look for, if I don't get the long into it, I will look for a trend break in the other direction up at that high. It's just a strategy that I like. So like at the middle of the day, if we go into a resistance level, it's confluence with the prior close as well. So you go to Wednesday's close, you go to yesterday's high, you get into that level and there's any kind of a turn, and I'm going to be all over it. Eddie has another super chat up. I'm not on the right page, so if we can, I got it. Eddie again. HIMS is a buy. Trump PRX is live, but HIMS already readjusted to beat Trump's prices, going long on this price war. One thing to keep in mind for this price war going on is Eli Lilly's oral pill, eventually, they have the ability to produce theirs cheaper than Novo. Right? Like it's something about, I'm no scientist, but it's like something about the process, about the way that their methodology for doing it allows them to go for a cheaper price point. So I think that's going to change the game if and when, I think it's sometime in the second half of this year, we're expecting to get Eli Lilly's version of the oral pill. So that will change it should change the game. I shouldn't say will. Again, I'm not some scientist or anything like that. But HIMS is at, check that. No, it's underneath this support here. It's this support that I want to talk about. If you go back to 2024, you've got a $20 level that is trying to bounce up. So maybe the bottom is in. It's not that terrible of a gamble. The other thing that it has going for it, and this is something whenever I've done swing trades that Brian Shannon had me look at, and it helped me out a ton in specifically UNH when I was in a swing trade there, is if you have which it's not, if you have a downward sloping 200-period moving average, to have lower expectations for how far you think it's going to go. So if it was downward sloping or flat, then any trade, I'd try to be a little bit more aggressive getting it out at obvious resistance spots. Whereas if it's upward sloping, you buy the dip and just try to let it fly a little bit more. Like let it fill the entire gap on an upward sloping 200-period moving average. That's something that helped me. I don't do a lot of swing trading, but it saved me a bunch of money in UNH, obviously, because that thing did not follow through when it had the downward sloping. So good luck in that, Eddie. HIMS, I would just say you're probably not holding a swing trade until the back half of this year, but that game will change when Eli Lilly comes out with theirs.
All right, let's figure out what's for lunch. Okay, here we go, guys. One more time, we're going to go into the well and figure out what is for lunch. Today, it's going to be another exciting mission. So let me go over to here. We'll go load this now up and tell you guys that today's flag is Canadian. So, you know, potentially some poutine, yes, potentially some, you know, beaver tail, potentially some ribs, moose meat. Who knows what's going to happen today. But if you say they swim with the fishes, then you would be correct, because today we go a little bit of this way, but we do it with this color shirt on, baby.
Oh, thank
It is a salmon day right there. So the most exciting...
I see what you did there. I see what you did.
Yeah, the most exciting part of the show is what's for lunch, and there it is right there. We're finally getting some excitement around here. It is lemon herb salmon, vegetable pilaf, seasoned vegetables, and mixed green salad. That's what's for lunch. All right. Yes. Thank you, Joe, for all of the stone cold action. I would get salmon anyways if it was tilapia, but salmon's been real good around these joints. So yeah, so far so good on that kind of a talk as well. But okay, so yeah, we're happy. We do have money talks coming up with Adara, and how about we go there, Andre, right now?
From talking about salmon to talking about the US dollar, I want to talk about the ZXY because I just mentioned we broke out of, as of yesterday, that level of support that we held in mid to late December of 2025, that 97.8 level. Break above that yesterday. Right now, though, giving up basically the entire day. Let's see if we can still hold on to that 97.7 level as support, even though we did give up yesterday's move already. I want to talk here about the CME Fed Watch tool because, as we know, we are not expecting rate cuts. We have, at this point, just over a month until we get that next meeting, March 18th, 2026, and 86% of participants are expecting that rates will be held in place, though 14% expecting a cut. Then we go ahead here to April, and we're still seeing majority expecting rates to be held in place. June, though, it remains the time that we're going to be very likely seeing some kind of cut, and actually these odds have increased. We were previously seeing about 42% of a cut, a percent chance of a cut in June, going back to a month ago, now seeing just over 51%. So again, majority of participants, even if just by a tiny amount, are expecting a June rate cut as of now, though we're not likely to get much action in March and April. But here's the thing, guys, things could also change. Because we should be getting not one, but two more Feds in the coming months. Fed's Bostic, as we know, is resigning at the end of February, so he's not obviously going to be making any more appearances. While Fed's Myron continues to give speeches, he, as far as we know, is not necessarily still going to be involved in the Fed, so we might get some more Fed members. Again, I haven't heard too much about that. If and when I get more information, and you know I'll be looking into it, I will keep you posted. It's worth noting that Myron did step down from his White House role, which could leave him open to take this spot at least temporarily. And he's previously said that he thinks that Kevin Warsh, who again has been nominated as the new Fed chair, will be taking over the seat that he is currently, or Myron is currently filling. So interesting Fed politics stuff that could, of course, change these rate odds as we start to get a sense of who these type of new Feds are with regards to hawkish or dovish. Back to you.
Yeah, thank you, Adara. I just heard both Sharif and Sean were saying some of that strength in this market buyback has not made its way to Microsoft. Yeah, Microsoft losing the bid. Under 400, forget about 400, man. It just broke 393, fresh low of the day. Is it starting to look a little bit nasty for them? If this,
bless you.
That was a good one. Usually it's me that's sneezing like that. No, but as we're heading back in, also here's Bitcoin. It's trying to break away from that 38.8. That's the level that look, 38.8 is the level I like, but once it broke away from that, I get away from the trade, and now we're trying to break trend and get back under or at that 38.8 level. If it can confirm the trend break, this candle doesn't immediately blow to the upside in the next 2 minutes, then I jump in and look for the short into the volume weighted average price. And Microsoft is cooked, says 1320 Wolf. I don't think it's cooked. I think it's taking some time off from being along, and it might be longer than people expect, but I think there's going to be a good opportunity. When you get into the mid 300s, I believe, once you're under the 30p, there's a support level down there. I think that's a good place to put a stink bid. But I haven't really decided yet because I liked IBM better, and I own more IBM than I own Microsoft. So I don't know. You get a little divvy with IBM. I feel like you get a little bit of that. You get some quantum exposure with those guys. So that was something that was on my ad list. Whereas I didn't come into this year thinking I wanted to buy Microsoft. It just happens to be down. Sometimes that's not the only reason to buy something is because it's down.
All right, hot dog cannon, Amazon there. We got out at 205 break, as we said, so now it's making the move down, so that's pretty good. AMD now $1.50 going lower. We just took some more bids at this 205 area, at this 204 area, 204.50. We'll see if we can get a 203 fill, and then we'll just put our bid there, and if it hits, it hits. That's 203. Let's go to like 203.25. All right, we'll put a little bid there and see if it does fill. What a great day it has been today. Let me give a quick, I know Sharif always does this, but I just want to say a big thank you because we've, over 10,000 viewers and we're just having such a great day. A big shout out to this guy over here, Trader604, man. I think you and I are very, very much alike. We both tend to love trading so much, and we talk about that every single day about coming in here, and I know that you're a big supporter of the Sticky Notes, so I want to thank you for that as well. Mike Peter Ryder, always here every single day, man. 1320 Wolf, we see you every day as well. Everybody that's in here, Anders members, David, thank you so much, man. You're in here as well every day. Showtime VB, Bax 200. Hey, Juan Padilla, what's going on, my friend? What's up, Juan? Chris Arthur, anybody, Save Man Woman, everybody that's in here, man. Aziz, thank you so much. Yo, says T Money. What's up, Mike? I already said what's up to you as well. John P, let's go. Yummy, let's go. Buffalo Soldiers, we're going on, man. Andrew Chow, hope you're doing well. Yeah, I used to do something called this. Then I found someone better doing it, the man to my left over here. So we leave that for him now. But lots of hearts going out, man. Thank you, Danny Trizzy, as well. Everybody that's here, glass half full. Don't forget about you. I will not, Mr. Rookie, man. If there's anybody that gives shout outs, we're here for you, man. There's Big 40 Nephew. What up, Big 40? Great age, man. Spin that. We'll spin that today, Charlie, man. That's exactly what we've been doing today. I know it'll be a mixed board a little bit, but, so far so good there. We have 2 trades today. Well, we have 3. We have this Roblox one. I can't believe we're actually taking an L on that one. But thank you to Ruju there. Big ups. Everybody that's here, man. You're welcome, Aziz, one more time. And Tony, big up, man. And there's Juan. You learned your trading style from me. Hey, man, that means a lot to me. So thank you so much for all of that. And, we've been here now for quite a while, and we wouldn't be doing anything without the viewers. And a big shout out to, of course, the dealer. He's dealing out memberships. He's dealing out super chats. He's doing well. It's Eddie the dealer. Thank you so much for everything today, and Aziz and everybody else that put up some super chats and or memberships, right? So thank you so much for all of that, man. We have the best community. We talk about that all of the time with only 2 minutes to go before the midday. Everybody enjoy your lunch. It's salmon time around here.
And also just to everyone that's a part of the community, whether you give a super chat or memberships or not, just being here, just conversing, just giving ideas out there. I see in the morning, and there's conversations about some of the small caps that are going on when we're sitting around prepping, when we're not even on, and we're not even necessarily in the conversation. We might have only said good morning, and I see you guys in there already sharing with each other, which is what it's all about. Like, you've got to, like we said, trading is a lonely business. And you want someone that you can bounce ideas off of. A community is even better if you can do that. So shout out to the entire community. I know silver is on a lot of people's minds, and I want to go back. It is at the volume weighted average price. So there was this trend break that happened. I might have missed it because I was hunting the Bitcoin one or IBIT, which I'm actually in. But you're now back at VWAP. It held VWAP right at the open, and it's trying to do it again. I do still think, okay, so here would be, this is only 2 points on the trend line, which I'm not as huge a fan of, but there is still a chance that we get that second or later opportunity for that trend break. But I feel like I've already missed this trend break here, so I don't want to chase it. If it lets me in at VWAP and ZSL, then I take the shot. But I don't necessarily want to chase this too far because the entry is down at like 71, 72, right about here, chasing it all the way up to 75, when the top of the range is 15 pennies. So you chase it 5 cents, that's actually a lot in ZSL if your range is 15 cents. You're giving up a third, and you're probably doubling your risk, which doesn't make a heck of a lot of sense to me. With about 30 seconds to go, everybody, just want to remind you, for those that haven't been doing it, when you type in a symbol, use that $sign. When we do the rundown in the afternoon, we're going to go over, we always just go over the names that are on this list. So if you're like, why are we covering this stock? Why are you not covering that stock? Well, it's because we're just going to be true to the stock visualizer with SMX and AMD and NVIDIA and Micron and Amazon. Maybe Robinhood ticks up there because people start pumping it. Maybe Tesla jumps in there, or SoFi. IREN is down there at the bottom. Roblox, I think, would have more interest on a day like today after
Roblox.
right? It's just whatever you guys put to the top of this list is what we're going to cover. So make sure you're in the chat, hit the subscribe so that you are a member of the chat, and then jump in there and say $, whatever it might be. It could be $ARM because that is continuing its post-earnings run, defying all logic because I didn't think it was that big of a quarter, but hey, the dip buy seems to be in regardless of what many people think. It is 11, everybody, so we're going to enjoy our lunch. Sit back, relax. You got Joey options. You've got the professor, and we'll be back in 2.
Boom! Greetings and salutations, beautiful people. Welcome to the Midday Show. Your boy Joey Options is still waddling